Yes. Welcome aboard the beautiful sports grill here in Bird Road on 114th. Come on out here just outside, just off of the turnpike. Alex Dono by my side out here. Sean Stanley, Abel doing their thing as they're getting us out here and getting rocking and rolling. And we're pretty close to full already, Dono. This place is rocking and ready to go for the pick.
Who says South Floridians show up everywhere late? I mean, we're still a half hour away from the start of the draft. We have almost a packed house here at Sports Grill. This is going to be a good time, Owen, and this has been a crazy day already. I thought things couldn't get much crazier when early in the afternoon we had reports of Tim Tebow working out as a tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then Schefter drops the bombshell that Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, that Green Bay had already received a trade offer from the San Francisco 49ers, including the third overall pick. Green Bay turned it down. Now Aaron has a wish list. Apparently, he still wants to go to San Francisco, or he wants to go to Denver, or he wants to go to Las Vegas to play for the Raiders. So I'm not expecting Rodgers to be traded tonight or tomorrow night, but this is certainly something we have to be on the lookout for now.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, right now, it's the lying season. So much is just screwed up at this point because we don't know what to believe. I still have a hard time believing that Mac Jones or Trey Lance are going to go at 3 to San Francisco. I still think that Justin Fields is the best fit, but I got to tell you something. Atlanta is sitting there, Dono, saying, go ahead, take Matt Jones, take Trey Lance. We'll go with Justin Fields because I think that's what would happen if San Francisco does that. And I get it. I know that we all have this love affair with Pitts and Chase. I have it too. I still have hope that one of those two is going to be there, but that's the unknown. And that's where, if you're a Dolphins fan, that third pick, it becomes an enormous play.
Yep.
Because if it becomes Trey Lance or Mac Jones, then all of a sudden I believe Atlanta will then go with Justin Fields, and then that leaves you at 5 and 6 with Pitts and Chase. And so Cincinnati takes whoever they want, and Miami ends up with the other one, and I think that they would be extremely happy with either one.
San Francisco 49ers, they really hold the key to this draft, and it's amazing how there have been so many differing reports coming out of the Niners camp that you have to believe it's smokescreen city. The smokescreens have smokescreens is how many smokescreens are coming out of there because, we're led to believe that there's some sort of a fracture among the front office. These were reports yesterday that, maybe John Lynch really likes the potential of Trey Lance and Shanahan, he prefers Mac Jones because he feels like that's sort of the ideal avatar to be running his offense. You had reports yesterday that San Francisco considers 4 or 5 guys, like burgers and fries. 5 guys could be possibilities for them at number 3 overall. And then today, there are reports saying that San Francisco has known for several days exactly who they're going to take at number 3. So there's so much misinformation coming out of that draft room with the 49ers. The only thing we know is they're going to take a quarterback. And for the Miami Dolphins' future, because like you said, there's definitely a domino that comes into play. Because if they don't take Justin Fields, and you know what, you notice that most of the reporting is linking them to either Mac Jones or to Trey Lance. So if we have this mantra every year at the NFL draft that everything you hear is lies, it's kind of suspicious that the one guy they're not being linked to is Justin Fields. That almost makes you think Justin Fields might be the pick.
Yeah, I just, again, man, and I know, Dono, we're Canes fans. We're in Canes Nation. We're not supposed to have any kind of love for Ohio State players. But I got to tell you, Justin Fields, if Miami didn't have a quarterback, I would be going, okay, guys, go ahead, pass up on him. Let Miami take him at number 6. Although if they didn't have a quarterback, they probably would have stayed at 3 to get Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, to me, has become an easy guy to root for. I have felt really bad for that young man with all of these narratives. Dan Orlovsky brought up that report a few weeks ago that there are certain NFL executives that have told him behind the scenes they have concerns about his work ethic. And now everyone, listen, my eyes tell me there's no concern. You saw that hit he took against Clemson, got right back in the game, and everybody who worked with him at Ohio State has raved about his professionalism and about his work ethic. So I've got to think the Orlovsky report got debunked. I know that some folks may now be trying to wonder, well, he has epilepsy. Is that going to affect him in the NFL? Here's the truth. Now, I'm no doctor, but with Justin Fields, he has never had to miss a game or come out of a game due to epilepsy. To my knowledge, he's never had to miss a practice or leave a practice prematurely because of epilepsy. This is something he's been managing very well through medication and doctor's advice for maybe his entire life up to this point. And oh, by the way, his doctors also believe he's going to outgrow it in short order the way multiple family members of his did. So this is a condition that was passed down to him by relatives. So many narratives have come up to try to discredit Justin Fields. Oh, I never thought in my life I would be rooting for an Ohio State player to get drafted as early as possible, but I'm rooting for Justin Fields because I don't like all the negativity around this guy.
No, I'm with you. I actually don't understand the negativity with the kid because I think he's just proven that he's a quality individual and a professional. As professional as you can possibly be in college.
Yeah.
But he has handled himself like a pro, and I've always been impressed with that. And listen, how do you not walk away with that Clemson game going, hey, this is the guy, dude.
Yeah.
This is the guy right here.
And he really had a fantastic college career. You know, you think about the other variables out there of San Francisco, if they're potentially debating between Justin Fields, I hope he's on their wish list, or Trey Lance or Mac Jones. The Mac Jones thing is such a hard sell. Mac Jones is the type of quarterback, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the prototypical NFL quarterback, a guy who's accurate, got good touch on his deep throws, but he's a pocket passer and only a pocket passer. That used to be the prototype for an NFL quarterback. Right. But now the successful NFL quarterbacks and the ones that get taken early in the draft are the guys who have other dimensions, the guys who are mobile or at least have quickness and elusiveness inside the pocket, and I don't see Mac Jones having any of that. And then you look at Trey Lance. Now, Trey Lance, I can understand why he's a very intriguing prospect because I think the sky is the limit for him, right? Because he wasn't a quarterback originally before he got to college, and he's only started, I think, 17 games in his college career, and he only played one game this past season, so you really only have about a season's worth of tape on him, and it was at North Dakota State. Right. So I get the question marks, but I do understand that teams who are looking at Trey Lance—
You're drafting on potential.
You're drafting on potential. You're drafting on potential, and you also have to draft with patience because he may not be the type that hits the ground running week one, right? If you're looking to start your rookie.
That's why Atlanta is a perfect pick for him.
Yes.
He's a lot like Ryan, and Arthur Smith ran the offense in Tennessee with Tannehill. And so since he's a lot like him, then what you do is you have Matt Ryan under contract for a couple of more years. This allows Trey Lance to kind of learn under Matt Ryan and learn what he has to do. And then in a couple years when you part ways, because Matt Ryan's salary, they're not going to part ways with him for a couple of years. So it's actually perfect. And you're drafting him in the first round, which gives you 5 years of development. So what you do is you have Matt on the team for 2 more years, and then in year 3, you get Lance in there, and now you give him 3 years to kind of prove himself.
I was listening to your show earlier this week, the Onside Zone, and you had Andrew Brandt on, and I thought he made a great point. Sometimes the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need a quarterback right now, right? I mean, we look at our friend Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers apparently is really upset with the Green Bay Packers. I don't know all the reasons why he's upset, but we know one of the reasons is Aaron Rodgers was really pissed that last year they traded up and they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. And he's saying, guys, why are you drafting my future replacement when you should be drafting weapons for me now? But it's a little ironic, because you remember the circumstances by which Aaron Rodgers came into the NFL. He was drafted as the future replacement for Brett Favre.
Exactly.
So that's how he came into the league. And now,
what did Andrew say in that same interview? They got torched for drafting Rodgers.
They did.
They got killed by everybody for drafting Rodgers.
You're right.
And just like they got killed for drafting Jordan Love. Now remember, and that answer came from my question that I asked him, what is it on the history of that team, whether it's Ron Wolf, whether it's Ted Thompson, and now the new regime, they have all invested in future quarterbacks while they had quarterbacks in play. And I started that question because there was one offseason where Ron Wolf had Brett Favre, Mark Brunell, Aaron Brooks, and Kurt Warner in the same camp.
That's
They
right.
cut Kurt Warner. He went to bag groceries, then play in the Arena League. They traded Mark Brunell for a 5th rounder to Jacksonville. They traded Aaron Brooks for a 4th rounder to New Orleans, and then went and drafted Matt Hasselbeck. And then they traded Matt Hasselbeck to Seattle, and it was Dave Wanstead fighting Seattle for Matt Hasselbeck. They offered a 2nd. Seattle offered a 1st. They ended up getting Matt Hasselbeck, who ended up having a Pro Bowl-like career and even took him to a Super Bowl. One year they lost, but they got to a Super Bowl with him. So that Green Bay's got it right.
Yeah.
You know, Belichick kept drafting quarterbacks while having Brady.
Yep.
That's how you do this game. You always play the game that if you got a shot at a quarterback, you take the shot at the quarterback.
How many times during the Ryan Tannehill era had we say, man, I wish they could just bring somebody in to compete with him, to push him a little bit, to, a more, solid. I mean, the Dolphins had a good backup for a number of years with Matt Moore. That's fine. But it would have been nice to have drafted a young quarterback. I think Dowdy was the one guy that they drafted in the 7th round. Not like that was really going to push Ryan Tannehill. So the Green Bay Packers are doing that. So in your mind, do you think there's more to this Rodgers situation than just Jordan Love? Like, there's got to be, right? I mean, I'm reading, he wants to be closer to California because his girlfriend, Shailene Woodley, the actress.
He's tired of these people. Right?
He's tired of these people. He wants to host Jeopardy full time.
Right. You don't get him any help at receiver, so he has to carry the damn franchise.
Yeah.
And I know that Devontae is a terrific receiver, and he's elevated all the other ones that they do have. But you still don't get him the weapons he needs to make his life a little easier overall. Then you go and draft you take over and draft a young quarterback, and so now he's got to live with all that, controversy and all of that. So the dude just goes out and balls out and plays at an MVP level. I'll tell you this, LaFleur and company are playing with fire because if Jordan doesn't provide a lot of love, they are going to get rushed.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing Rodgers was in, like you said earlier. If Rodgers didn't kick ass, then the fan base was going to go crazy. Like, dude, you push Favre out. Are you out of your mind? And so it's the same thing. So you better make sure that if you're pushing a Hall of Famer out, you better have a real competent replacement to step in Green Bay, because talk about what we went through. We went through Greasy, then we had a little Woodstock, but you still went to the Super Bowl, and then Marino. Incredibly spoiled for 35 years, Dolphin fans were. Since then, okay? So it's been pretty bad since then. And so that's why you better be careful, because you don't want to land in the rut that Miami has been in for 2 decades.
So now I wonder what Rodgers does and what the Packers do, okay? Because, the Packers reportedly, and this reminds me a lot of the Deshaun Watson saga before the lawsuits, right? If you talk pre-lawsuit, when Houston was trying to make him happy, Green Bay, they've made visits to Rodgers' house. They've had conversations with him, trying to convince him, hey, everything's great in Green Bay. You should be happy. And apparently it's not working. They've already turned down, we understand, a pretty sizable trade offer for Rodgers. So do they dig their trench? Does Rodgers dig his trench? Because, if Aaron Rodgers wants to go down the road of a holdout and refusing to play, I'm not saying Rodgers doesn't have some money in the bank. I'm sure he does. He does very well for himself. But here's what he's leaving on the table. He has $23 million in unearned signing bonus money that he would have to pay back to the Packers. He owes them $23 million if he doesn't play, and he's got a $14.7 million base salary in 2021. So if Aaron Rodgers wants to hold out, if they don't trade him first, it's going to cost him some cash.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. Now the question is, does it get so bitter that they ask him to pay back some signing bonus?
Yeah. I'm sure that'll go over well.
When it's all said and done. So now, going back to the Dolphins, and let's do this. Let's get a break in so we can come back, get prepared, start talking a little Dolphins angles coming up now, and what options they have, and what could be happening with this 6th pick. Whether they could, there's no shot they trade up, but there is a chance that they do trade down. It all depends on how the draft is falling and what players are taken for the first 5 picks before Miami comes up to number 6. If Pitts and Chase are gone, are they willing to trade out? And so I've got a scenario that may make some of you happy and may make some of you unhappy. We'll talk about that when we come back live from Sports Grill here in Miami, Bird Road and 114th. Come on by. Larry Glick just got into the house here. Abel, Sean, putting it all together. Alex Donald by my side. Tito Benash down at the studios, getting it done right here on OnsideRadio.com. Welcome back to the beautiful and delicious Sports Grill here on Bird Road and 114th. Come on by and say hi. We are 10 minutes away from the first pick being, at least they'll start it, and then Jacksonville's going to take all 10 damn minutes.
If they do that, I'm done. Like, you're going to have to do the rest of your show yourself. Well, if they
just
take
gives me another reason why I want to punch Urban Meyer.
If they take 10 minutes to select Trevor Lawrence when they've known since the end of the season that they're drafting Trevor Lawrence, oh, man, you know what? I'm not going to leave Sports Grill. I'm going to leave this table. I'm going to eat some special grilled wings. I'm going to drink some beers, and you're going to handle the rest of the show yourself if they take 10 minutes to draft Trevor Lawrence. Please, Urban, do the right thing and make your pick quickly, man.
All right, so let me talk about a scenario for the Dolphins that it's going to frustrate some of you out there. And I talked a little bit about it on my show a few weeks back when we were kind of breaking things down. And so when we talk about the playmaker, right? And we say, okay, well, they're going to get Pitts, they're going to get Chase, maybe they'll get Waddle, maybe they'll get Smith, but they're going to get a playmaker for Tua, right? And so there's another scenario that also falls into place. You could get that playmaker at 6, one of the aforementioned guys I mentioned, and then get like Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State, get the tackle, which I think at 18, the better value right now is at tackle, not at defense.
And can I add something in?
But again, defensive players could be an option as an end or an outside linebacker.
Let me add something in on Tevin Jenkins. I was talking with Alfredo Arteaga from 5 Reasons Sports earlier this week, and he makes a really good point on Tevin Jenkins. Not only a really good offensive tackle, but I like the fact that he's a natural right tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, obviously the Dolphins have a left-handed quarterback, so the right side is the blind side. And for a lot of these other tackles you talk about, you're talking about drafting a natural left tackle and moving him over to the right side, which is not automatic,
and
right?
Habitually, they have to then learn everything.
It's like learning to be left-handed when you're right-handed, or vice versa.
Exactly.
So Tevin Jenkins makes a lot of sense because a lot of the tackles that they have projected high are natural left tackles. He's a natural right tackle.
I'm with you there. So we got 5 minutes till we get to the top of the hour here. So here's the scenario that's going to frustrate the hell out of some of you out there. Okay, are you prepared for this? Okay, now let's just say that Pitts and Chase are gone. And so now Waddle and Smith are left, and they want to go in a different direction now, okay? And it goes now to what Donna was talking about. They could actually then select the best tackle in the draft in Penei Sewell at 6. Relax, let me finish, okay?
Tito just jumped off a bridge.
I know. Tito's losing his mind. And then they could go with a back at 18, a power back in Najee Harris, or if Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle, one of those two happens to drift to 18, then they might select one of those two guys and then go for a back at number 36, and they're hoping maybe the North Carolina kids are there at 36, okay? They could go in that direction. They could go an A6, and then they could go Najee 18. And I tell you this because watch, Lamar Jackson is a poor passer. He's not a great passer, okay? But yet, with a dominant running offense, it allows him to actually play the game and play pretty well at times. Now, if you stop the run, like it's been proven in the last 2 years in the playoffs, the kid is dead in the water, and it's a lot like Ryan Tannehill. When Tannehill's got the running game going and the monster's going, he's fine. It ends, he's done. So, if those two quarterbacks, who aren't half the passers that Tua is, okay, I know I get it. Tua hasn't proven anything. From what I see and know already, I know Tua is a superior passer by these guys, way over. So all of a sudden, if you then put Penei in there with that beefy line all of a sudden, and you got a power running game with Najee or with the North Carolina kid, then all of a sudden now you are going to have linebackers on their heels. You're going to have defensive linemen sucking wind because you're now going to become a power running team. And if you become a power running team, it becomes that much easier for Tua to work the back end of the field because your linebackers have to come up, that safety has to cheat, so all of a sudden you're getting him out of the box, and now you've got Gesicki fighting holes in the secondary. And now you go with what's it called, the Houston kid, what's his name now? Fuller. You got Fuller on one side, and then you've got Devontae on the other, or you use Preston, whatever. So all of a sudden now your deep safety has to worry about Gesicki working the middle of the field, has to worry about Fuller stretching it, and then the big guys on the right side as enormous targets. So it all of a sudden becomes a really good offense in that way too, okay? Because if you're able to put people on their asses and put them on their heels, and you're running the ball down their throats, the passing game becomes that much easier. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you've got like Baltimore and what they're doing, what Tennessee's doing, Miami did that years ago. Years ago. It was in the 70s. They did it with Zonka, Kick, and Morris. And they kicked your ass every down. They had a massive line that dominated you. And Greasy only had to find Warfield every once in a while. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that if don't freak out if they go with another philosophy of trying to build the team, because you can actually go in that direction, and it makes all the sense in the world. And a quarterback that's already suffered a lot of injuries, if he's got a power running game that he can keep people on their heels all the time, you're touching him less, he's getting hit less, he's getting sacked less chances for injuries. So I just want to warn you, because the draft is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen, but I want to give you the different avenues that you could go. You could go with the receiver and the playmaker at 6, the tackle at 18, the defensive end, the outside linebacker at 18. You can go running back at 36. You can go safety at 36. You can go receiver at 36. You know, there's going to be options for you. So it all depends on how you want to work this entire thing.
You know, I don't hate it, because I've said it for weeks that if the Dolphins can get out of the first round with one of Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts or Najee Harris, I'm going to be a happy man. And then to what you said at the end there, I'm going to want to have my cake and eat it too, and hopefully get a capable wide receiver maybe in the second round, right? I mean, obviously you're not going to have the big 3 or 4 on the board, but if I could maybe get myself a Kadarius Toney or a De'Ami Brown from North Carolina, or if I could get a Terrence Marshall from LSU if he falls that far, I can still find value there at wide receiver while getting the best running back in the draft and one of the best tackles in the draft. So I'm not opposed to that plan.
Yeah, because at least you're protecting Tua, which, ladies and gentlemen, look at what happened to Joe Burrow when you don't protect him. It leads to Andrew Luck walking right out on you, okay? That's the precursor right there. Joe Burrow suffers a knee injury in his first year as a rookie because you got morons in the front office that don't protect their quarterback, okay? What happened to Pat Mahomes? He had to have toe surgery this offseason. Why? Because his line wasn't good enough. And he has Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. How many people have that in the NFL? Nobody. And yet, he was on his ass and he couldn't find it. All right, let's take a quick break. Commissioner's about to go to the podium and kick off the draft. We will come back here after the break from Sports Grill on Burr Road in 114th, and we'll get ready to start this draft, baby, Dolphin style, right here on OnsideRadio.com. Yes, we're back. Sports Grill here on Bird Road in Miami. Loving it. Getting ready for the pick. And they're starting the draft. You ready, Dono?
I'm getting there. I'm so ready for it because what have we been talking about every day since after the Super Bowl? We've been talking about the NFL draft, right? We for a while we were speculating about the 3rd and the 18th pick. Then, Chris Greer threw us a bone a few weeks ago making that trade. So at least we had something a little bit different to talk about. Now we're talking about number 6. We're talking about, hey, is it I know a lot of Dolphin fans, I don't agree with this, but a lot of Dolphin fans have been saying, you know what, the idea to trade down to 6 is a failure if Chase and Pitts are off the board. Now, that's assuming you knew what Chris Greer's plan was. Like, that's one of the things that gets me a little bit annoyed because people always think, based on the speculation, based on the conjecture, that they know what the GM's plan is. That, the reason why the GM, traded down from 3 to 12 and then back up to number 6 was he thought I can still have the choice of all the same players at number 6 that I would have had at number 3. How do you know that? I mean, the Dolphins, there are no whispers, there are no leaks, there are no rumors. Chris Greer and Brian Flores run a very tight ship when it comes to letting information out. So we've just got to sit back and enjoy. They may trade again. Like they may trade down from 6. They may trade down or up for 18. We don't know what's going to happen, but I trust Chris Greer that he had a plan all along, and things are going to plan.
Well, I got to tell you, we're going to switch mics here? Okay. One of the things that I think is going on, and I think the problem is that fans, we live in this microwave society, and fans want immediate results, they were off the Gesicki bandwagon after the first year. They're off the Tua bandwagon after the first year. They want instant gratification. That's just the way it is. And it happens all the time. And then so they think in fantasy terms. Well, they traded up. And, it's easy for me to say it's all about Pitts or Chase. But, it might be all about Pitts or Chase. But they have to have plan B and plan C in place because they just don't know what's going to happen. So like I told people, when you roll around every single round, normally you have about 5 options in that round that you're looking at.
Right.
A, B, C, D, and E.
Because you don't know who's going to be on the board for sure.
But the Dolphins at 6 are probably at that 3 spot.
Yeah.
Because they probably looked at the 3 quarterbacks and then said, all right, everything else is unpredictable after those 3. That's the way we've got to look at it. So the way they're looking at it is by saying, hey, listen, we're going to go, if this happens, we're going to go in this direction. If that happens, they go in this direction. If this happens, we're going to go in this direction. That's why I brought up the Penei Sewell situation, because maybe they want Pitts or Chase, but if they're not there, then they're going to turn the tables and they're going to go in another direction. They're going to build it, but they're going to build it in another way. See, the key for any front office is to have a plan.
Right.
And for 20 years, we watched a team that never had a plan, that was doing it on the fly, that was never doing things the right way. Now we're watching a team. This is why I never understand the doom and gloom attitude, because like I got it yesterday. Oh, well, if they don't do this, it's a failure. This is not. Oh, they had to get rid of this defensive lineman. It's a failure. Dude, they won 10 games last year. What the hell are you talking about? It's kind of like what I tell people with Ethereum and Bitcoin, that there'll be massive fluctuations and there'll be some dips. But then it'll find a higher low and a higher high. But you have to be patient. And exactly, there you go. And Ethereum was consolidating for several weeks, and then it blew up.
Yeah, it's exploding now.
That's kind of the way it is. You've got to let things consolidate and then kind of retrack again. And that's what these guys are going to do. They're going to play the draft the way they have the plan set out. They have plan A, they have plan B, and they have plan C. So they're going to exercise one of those plans when 6 rolls around. So I wanted to give you guys that other scenario, because it doesn't make any sense that if Pitts and Chase are gone, maybe they have another avenue that they want to exercise. And it may not just be, Jalen or Devonta.
I like what you said, talking about a lot of those free agents from last year, Shaq Lawson, Van Noy, and most recently Eric Flowers being either released or traded. People also forget that you had some young players who came out of nowhere last year. I mean, think about the Van Ginkels. Think about the Zach Sealers who exploded onto the scene. So the Dolphins actually found ways to replace some of these players, and now by releasing or trading them, they're saving more money under the cap. They're going to be able to sign all of their draft picks from the next 3 days with no issues because of the money that they're saving. I trust the plan, and I understand why Dolphin fans have PTSD, because for the better part of the last 20 years, you had general managers and head coaches pretending to be general managers like Adam Gase who didn't know what they were doing. Now you've got the guy who takes advantage of those who don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Because you remember all those bad trades the Dolphins used to make? We've now got the type of guy who's on the other side of those trades.
Yeah.
We got the guy who takes advantage of the desperate GMs out there.
And let me tell you, I love Omar Kelly. He's part of our family. He'll be on after every pick. When he was on with you and said, well, you know, Charles Harris was a mistake, and then the only guy that he hit on was Olivier Vernon.
Yeah, pass rushers,
and
yeah.
I'm sitting there, and I'm driving and listening to that, and I'm going, I love you, Omar, but that's not true, because Seiler
Yep.
helped out. Van Ginkel helped out. Right, and those are guys that he picked up either by trade or by signing, or by grabbing off somebody's practice squad. Emmanuel Agba, that was a hell of a signing.
Yeah, it was.
So you build a team. You know, there's a promo that runs on our station where I say, you know, you build it however you can. You draft it, you trade for it, you sign it in free agency. It's all about winning. I don't care if you win. It's like the people that pick on Pat Riley. Oh, well, he trades for players. Well, yeah, dude, so what? Who cares? If you can draft it, great. If you can trade for it, who cares? The hardware, it never says we won this championship because of key free agents. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It all says we won this championship because we were the best. Okay? The Marlins 2003 championship is no less or no more than the 97 one. Okay? And the 97 one was loaded with free agents. Either way, it's a championship. It doesn't matter. So you build teams however you can and however you can find it. And the fact that he found pass rushers in Seiler off of somebody's practice squad, in Emmanuel Agba in a cheap free agent contract, and a fifth-round pick in Van Ginkel, that's what I want to remind you. There are other ways to find talent, and that's what I love about this front office. They will find the Preston Williams, they will find the Brandon Jones, and they will also find a Tua, okay? So they will pick high, they will pick in the middle, they will pick low, they will pick in free agency, they will sign free agents, and they will hit on different levels. You do that, you win 10 games in your second year.
And Chris Greer collects draft picks like you collect Bitcoin, right? It's currency for him. I mean, you think about it, because I know that...
Let's go with VeChain.
VeChain, he collects draft picks like you collect VeChain. And I know what's going to happen, okay? If we see Kyle Pitts, who Dolphin fans love, go off the board at 4. Then maybe we'll see Jamar Chase, who Dolphins fans love, go off the board at 5. You're going to have a lot of people complaining, saying, oh, my God, what a mistake it was to trade down from number 3. You should have kept the pick. Let's not forget, they also got a future first-round pick in 2023, which can become a chip. You can either use that pick in 2023, or you can use that as ammunition for a trade in the future. They got, I think, an extra 4th-round pick for next year as part of those deals as well. That becomes a commodity for the future.
Course,
so
man.
even if Dolphin fans feel like, oh my God, there's no Chase, there's no Pitts on the board, we failed by trading down, let's not forget those extra picks you collected could become currency for the future. And by the way, I'm worried about Jamar Chase here. Not that I wasn't already, but Tito Benach notified me a little bit earlier. He was watching the red carpet, you know, the players showing up.
Of course.
Jamar Chase is wearing orange, white, and black today. I think he knows where he's going. I think he's joining his old college buddy.
By the way, another reason I hate Urban Liar, he's taking up the 10 minutes, baby.
Oh, God. Herb, you're killing me. Who's performing? I assume you know every band on the planet. You've probably seen
Kings
these guys.
Leon right now.
See, I knew you would know.
That's Kings of Leon.
Listen, I know their music, but I could not pick the Kings or the Queens of Leon out of a lineup. I have no idea what these guys look like.
I like Kings of Leon, actually. Good band. So that's actually a pretty cool thing. I mean, you got to make it a little bit more of a dog and pony show nowadays.
Well, plus they're in Cleveland, so the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tie-in as well.
Exactly. I just actually went on Ticketmaster today, and I put my name in for the Genesis tickets, and I put in for the Cleveland show because I want to go to the Cleveland show and then go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too.
Sounds cool.
At the same time. So go out there for a couple days. So I'm hoping I get a chance at the Genesis tickets, and I could go see Genesis for a final time. They just announced the tour dates today, just in case for those of you.
And I know you're chomping at the bit to get back to concerts.
Oh my God, I'm fully vaccinated. I'm ready to go, and so is the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell. He is now making his way to the podium. It looks like it, right? Yep.
What's your prediction for the first pick?
Justin Fields. Urban Meyer says, I'm going Ohio
How about
State
that?
all the way.
And he announces he's signing Tim Tebow to play tight end, his former Florida quarterback.
There you go. Come on. Welcome to the 2021 NFL Draft. Come on. Come on, Cleveland. I didn't come out of my basement for nothing. Let's go. Come on. As you can see, I have a few friends here with me. Let me introduce them, even though they don't need to be introduced to Brownie fans. First, Jarvis Landry. Bernie Kosar. And Big Joe Thomas. We all agree that over the past season, one thing that we missed the most was all our fans, all of you. And we can't wait. Bernie. Take a bow, Bernie. And we can't wait to have all of you back in First Energy Stadium and every stadium across the league this season. So tonight, to celebrate our fans, we're going to have an NFL fan from out here that's vaccinated come up to this stage for each draft pick tonight and sit in that chair, which is a chair I did the draft from in 2020. So I'm going to let Jarvis and Bernie pick the Jaguar fan who comes up first. Guys, go for it.
You know, Donald, we got the commissioner
All right,
talking
we got a winner.
a bunch now. We can
We got a winner. Hang on one second.
Is he going to kick off the draft here, or is he announcing the pick?
It's really annoying. Like, he's out there on the stage sucking up to Cleveland, even though they're booing him. Like, he's trying to win over the crowd, I think, is what he's trying to do,
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out what the hell's
What's
going
up,
on
Cleveland?
here.
How about them Brownies, huh?
Is this draft on Cuban time?
Are they making up for the fact that they had a virtual draft last year, and now they're going to make this first round's going to be twice as long because they're in. And by the way, the turnout looks pretty good in Cleveland. I got to give them credit because the weather there has been awful all day. I've been
phenomenal fans.
right. Oh, for sure. All day I've been watching in and out the live coverage on ESPN and NFL Network, and it's been storming, ugly, a typical Cleveland day all day long out there. But the people still showed up strong. I know people miss this, right? Hopefully, people being careful, vaccinated people out there having a great time. I know Roger Goodell's vaccinated because he's going to be hugging people tonight.
Here we go.
You ready? Okay. The 2021 NFL Draft is now officially open.
Now we got 10 minutes.
Oh,
The
God.
clock has started now.
Urban Liar's going to take the whole
man.
time, too.
Oh. I mean, yeah, exactly. You know, Tito does have a good point. Maybe I'll start talking crypto. No, but seriously, it's just, I mean, come on, dude. This is TV trying to milk it and get as many commercials in as possible because it's 8:16 now. We're going to do the first pick by 8:25. That is so cruel, man. I got to tell you. That is just wrong on every level.
They should already be out there with the envelope. Like, do you
The
really?
second pick.
Do you really need? Right, we should be doing the second. In fact, why even bother announcing the first pick? We know it's going to be Trevor
Seriously.
Lawrence.
Is there any doubt what's going to happen? The long-haired beauty is going to be taken at number 1, bro. Come on.
By the way, one of the bets that I made is what color dress Trevor Lawrence's wife is going to be wearing. And I bet on like something in like the greenish family, like a green.
Only you.
Yeah, but it was amazing because, my logic is simple.
That's not true. It's you and Tito.
Oh, my God, I lost. She's wearing black. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm already in the hole. Oh, I thought she'd be wearing Jaguar colors. Oh, no.
Only you would be thinking about. She's wearing black because he's going to Jacksonville. He's screwed. So it's kind of like a funeral. Look, last year when I saw Joe Burrow smoking that cigar after the championship game, I said, kid, enjoy that cigar because it's the last one you'll ever have after a victory because you're going to Cincinnati and you're screwed. And let me tell you something. Let's just talk a little bit about what Urban Meyer is up against now because it's the college coach making the switch. He's so used to having college players. Will he be able to kind of handle all of this stuff? And will he succeed here at this level?
He's got to learn from people like Nick Saban, who, I know Saban didn't stick around Miami for very long. I think he was 14 and 17, something like that, in 2 seasons here. But Saban realized pretty quickly for him, for his personality, the grass was greener in college. So I think Urban Meyer, the first thing you need to understand is, before we even get to schematics, you need to understand you cannot treat professional, any of which are making more money than you. Well, he's making a lot of money. Some of which are making more money than you. You can't treat them like college kids. You have to treat them like grown men. And then the other factor, the bigger factor is, okay, Urban Meyer is widely regarded in the college ranks as being an offensive genius, a great schemer, a great innovator. Are his tactics going to automatically translate into the National Football League? We're going to find out. I think he's got a great quarterback to kickstart his NFL career because you couldn't ask for a better young quarterback to build around. But then the other thing, Big O, and I warned Jaguars fans about this, and they know it because a lot of Jaguars fans are Gator fans, so they've experienced it. The second Urban Meyer faces some adversity in Jacksonville, what do you think he's going to do? The heart palpitations are going to mysteriously start up again. The migraines are going to come back. He's going to want to spend more time with his family. The second things get tough there, in typical Urban liar fashion, he's going to go out door number 1. That's been the pattern his entire career. He did it at Florida. He did it at Ohio State. You better hope it's all sunshine and roses in Jacksonville. Otherwise, Urban is going to take the first exit ramp off.
Yeah, and I got to tell you something. At least when you walk in there and you're Trevor Lawrence, you've got DJ Chark at wide receiver, Marvin Jones that they signed as a free agent. So you've got a couple of guys that you can actually use. And then also they've got Tyler Eifert at tight end. And James Robinson was a steal. I mean, we talk about running backs. This kid was a free agent, an undrafted free agent out of the draft last year, and he became a monster. I mean, anybody that picked him up in fantasy, you got him probably in free agency. You may not even have drafted him, and the kid ended up becoming one hell of a steal. They also signed Carlos Hyde in the offseason. So they've got some playmakers for the kid. So he doesn't get there, and he doesn't have anything. They have the Chenault kid also, who's not a bad little receiver. So you got about 3 guys that you can work with. Our former UMer is there, Philip Dorsett. I don't even know if he makes the team. But overall, he's got some weapons there on the team.
You know, and with Trevor Lawrence, I think he's going to do great in the NFL. I don't question that.
He's made for it.
It's amazing, though, the life that he's led, because since he was a true freshman, we've known he was going to be a future number 1 overall pick. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you contrast Trevor Lawrence's journey with Joe Burrow, who was the number 1 pick last year, because Joe Burrow didn't really break out until his senior year, his final year at LSU. That's when you realize, oh my God, this guy's really good. Statistically, he put up probably the best season in college football history at quarterback, whereas Trevor Lawrence, you have known since he took over starting duties there as a true freshman, that guy has been penciled in the number 1 overall draft pick. I think he's got the arm, the talent, the elusiveness to be great at that level. I think he's going to succeed. He's got a lot of pressure, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're there in a pressure cooker with a very controversial head coach. You're going to be the starter right away. You're going to be expected to, I don't know how many wins people expect Jacksonville to get right away, but he's going to be expected to put up numbers immediately. So he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders there.
Oh, yeah, everybody's got, Urban has to perform. Trevor's good. He's the number 1 pick in the draft, my brother. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about.
Yep.
You've got to go out there. You've got to perform. You got to get it done. And I think that's kind of part of the game. And I'm sure, hey, listen, he has lived with pressure now for many years in Clemson as it is. Because even when he doesn't play his best, they're even critical of him at times.
Yeah.
He had some criticism this year, actually, overall, which is kind of crazy because the dude's a player. But I mean, listen, this is the break that Jacksonville needed for a long, long time. The franchise has had some moments, but they haven't been able to really put it together. And this is a chance now to actually build a real winner and a sustaining winner. Now you get the quarterback. Now you better fill up and get the rest of the team.
This is the most excited people have been for Jacksonville Jaguars football in over 2 decades. I mean, this is the hype train is. It's really coming off the tracks now for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're so pumped to see what they put together. And you know what's funny, like you joked about, Urban Meyer and the Jags, they really are taking all 10 minutes here. I mean, we're under 2.5 minutes left on the clock. And they've already done like 17 live camera shots of Trevor Lawrence and his very lovely wife, I might add. And we're still in suspense. I hope the Jets don't take this long to take Zach Wilson, because we all know what's happening.
Everybody's taking the 10 minutes, my brother, because everybody waits for that magical call from Mike Lynn.
That's true.
From Mike Ditka, and let me offer you the world. And then it's a trade that you're like, all right, we'll take it. That kind of stuff. And so, although this time around, I just don't see it happening.
No, and also, like, you would have to say, hey, Jags, we're going to give you, like, our next 3 drafts, rounds 1 through 7, because what's it really going to take for them to part ways with Trevor Lawrence? They have it made in the shade.
Yeah, you would have to give him a quarterback back, and I'm not talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about something young is what they would want on the way back, and picks.
Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, this is a guy that's kind of looked at like a sure thing. Is really what that's the way Trevor Lawrence is viewed. See, Zach Wilson has questions. Justin Fields, although I kind of like him, I don't know about, there's not a lot of questions because he's super accurate.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Accurate makes me, like, I get sexually aroused when quarterbacks are accurate. I mean, just after going through Tannehill, trust me, I get sexually aroused. So I kind of like Justin, but there's questions about Zach, and there's questions about Trevor, and there's questions about Zach Morris. So all of these guys have some kind of questions with them. And with Trevor, it almost feels like he's the automatic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the same way that we felt
Pick
about.
is in, by the way.
It is in. Okay, great.
Wonder.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, with Trevor Lawrence, it's the same way we felt about Andrew Luck when he came out. Who, he had a fine career. He didn't win the rings. A lot of people expected him to win, but really since Andrew Luck and then John Elway before that, Trevor Lawrence, that's how confident people are in his abilities.
I love how they brought out Goodell's couch, his lazy boy, and so a fan for every team gets to sit in that one. All right, the commissioner's going to the podium. I wonder who it's going to be.
NFL draft, here we go.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson.
There you go. It is Trevor Lawrence. What a shocker, right? And obviously they're showing Trevor and his family and friends, and nobody has a mask on, and they're all there at home, and and cranking it out. And Trevor's got a green suit on. His wife with a black dress on.
I lost $300 on that dress.
And you lost a lot of money there. There you go. And I love how he has Gatorade on the table already, so he's getting paid.
He's got a deal, yeah.
This dude already has a deal with Gatorade. I love it. Oh, wait a minute. He comes to an Urban's town, and the Gators created Gatorade.
That's right. There's a 6 degrees of separation.
There you go.
And another thing with Trevor Lawrence that I found interesting going back to before his final season at Clemson. Now, it's not that I don't fault any of the players who decided to opt out. Everyone had different reasons for doing so as far as concerns about the pandemic. But I actually applauded Trevor Lawrence for opting in because the guy had nothing to gain, right? You think about playing that season last year, like he had his stock was at the highest point possible.
He didn't need the season.
And he actually got COVID last year. So he took the risk of playing. I don't think he ever actually got sick from it, thank God, but he actually did get COVID last year, missed a couple of games because of it, but I respect the fact that he decided, I want to give ourselves a chance to win another national championship. I want to be there for my teammates. Everyone made the best decision for them, but I respect the fact that a guy with nothing to gain, he could have only lost, there was nothing to gain, decided to play last year with Clemson.
One of the first Senior Bowls I ever went to, it was, I don't know, my second, third, fourth Senior Bowl, I don't know which one it was. Carson Palmer came out, and he was the number 1 pick for the Bengals. And the dude went to the Senior Bowl week.
Oh, wow.
And played and everything, and it was practice and all that, and we were all, it was one of those where I got a lot of respect for the guy because Carson was locked in.
Yeah.
Number 1, no doubt, like Trevor, like heads and tails above everybody else. He was the number 1 pick. And Cincinnati took him, which Joe Burrow, learn your lesson. So anyway, so they take him, and same thing. He didn't need it. He went and he played because he's a junkie. He's a gym rat, as they say. And I think that's kind of what Trevor is. He's the guy that wants to play the game. And it's amazing because you're right. He didn't need one bit of that wear and tear and still would have been the number 1 pick in the draft.
Now, another guy who played his season last year at BYU, he had a really impressive pro day, got everyone talking, is Zach Wilson. They're showing highlights of him now. He's going to be the 2nd overall pick. I think we're aware of that.
Major gamble.
It is a gamble because now the way, and our friend Kyle Krabs, who joins me on Thursdays, I thought said it really well. Now, Kyle, on his big board, he has had Justin Fields as his number 2 quarterback all along, and I agree. I've been consistent on that with Justin Fields.
You watch the film, the kid torched everybody he played, and they were all pretty weak.
Yeah.
And then Coastal Carolina was the best team they played on their schedule.
Right.
And it was his worst game of the year.
That's why it's a risk. Now, honestly, I look at Zach Wilson and I say, he might be the guy with the highest ceiling, but he's also the guy with the lowest floor when you talk about the major quarterbacks getting drafted. And then you think about...
I would say Trey's a little more green.
That could be as well. That could be as well. With the lack of experience, yeah.
But again, I know where you're going on this. I'm with you. And that's why I would take Justin Fields number 2 if I'm the Jets. But, hey, man, if the Jets want to roll the dice and go ahead, because we've seen this story before, the guy that's super gifted and super talented and played, there was a guy that got married with Holly Robinson long time ago, and he played in a small school, and they took him in with the Detroit Lions, and he struggled, and he wasn't ever the guy. And that's because they thought he was because he was so athletic.
Yeah.
And I've seen this story over the years, time and time again. I saw what he did in a pro day, but to fall in love with somebody during a pro day, to me, makes no sense whatsoever. Because throwing against wind and throwing against no pressure just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, there's 3 minutes left on the clock. We're going to find out, and we'll see if this kid can actually make the transition. But you're going to make one hell of a change from where you played to go to the NFL. That's going to be pretty tough.
Well, and even where you played in college versus where you play in the NFL, because he's going from Provo, Utah to New York City. That's a big jump up when it comes to the bright lights of the Meadowlands, right? To go from Provo, Utah to New York City. And listen, I know that there's a lot of optimism with the New York Jets and going out and hiring Robert Saleh as their head coach, who's really respected. They're trying to turn the page from the stain of Adam Gase that they had for the last couple of years. But you're still talking about a New York Jets organization that is not well run. Their ownership has been garbage with the Johnson family.
Yep,
so,
right.
you're taking Zach Wilson and you're putting him in a position where you're not guaranteed to succeed there because a quarterback is only as good as the other 21 starters when you're talking offense
Right.
and defense. So if he's walking into a bad situation, if Saleh cannot turn the Jets around, then that could be something that drags Zach Wilson down.
Yeah, no, again, this is a hell of a gamble. And by the way, the GM, Joe Douglas, it's not just a Saleh thing. You got rid of Gase now.
Yeah.
So now Joe Douglas is the next guy in line of blame. So this is your pick to turn the franchise around. The franchise right before Joe Douglas took Sam Darnold didn't work out. They were forced to trade him. I'm not a Sam Darnold guy, but I still think they gave up way too early on him when they didn't really help him. And so it's kind of interesting. The pick is in. The commissioner is about to make his way to the podium. We're going to find out who is the number 2 pick in the draft, which we kind of know. The beauty is at least we're getting past the drama now because the drama starts now in the next pick with number 3. So that's actually pretty cool. They didn't put Fireman Ed over there in the chair.
Did he not make it? Like, who is this loser in the chair? That's not Fireman Ed. It's just some random-ass Jet fan.
I mean, Fireman Ed would probably be crying sitting in that chair. Notice how they put a blanket on the commissioner's chair, so that way, if the fans fart on it, that's kind of what's going on there. All right, so commissioner's in.
Jets pick.
With the second pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU.
All right, Zach Wilson is the pick for the New York Jets out of BYU. Now remember, Jim McMahon, Steve Young are quarterbacks that played at the next level and played at BYU. So it's not something that is abnormal.
John Beck.
I'm sorry.
John
weird.
Beck.
Huh?
John Beck as well played at BYU.
John Beck. John Beck. So, you've had some guys that actually have been able to translate from BYU to the NFL. Now, I will say this. In the Steve Young and Jim McMahon days, BYU played actually a tougher schedule.
They did.
Okay? UM played them.
They won national titles.
Yeah, that was the year, the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah.
Was that
83,
year
right?
That led to the national title. So they did have an opportunity. They have had success with guys going to the next level. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're coming to you live from Sports Grill here. Sean's got to load up on some wings. My man Donald's got to load up on some beer. Abel's also loading up. We got Tito down at the studios. Back with more right here on OnsideRadio.com. back, baby. Sports Grill here on Bird Road. Yeah, Sean Abel driving it. Tito down in the studios kicking some ass, putting it all together. Alex Donald, my partner in crime. We're getting ready for the third pick of the draft. We got a little over 2 minutes. The drama sets in right now. They just were turned down for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Supposedly. So now, where are they going to go? What quarterback are they going to take? I got to tell you something. I've been saying this, and I'm probably going to be wrong. I don't know. But to me, I'm going to go with what makes sense here. Okay? And I already predicted Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. That was really difficult. I'm going to go Justin Fields here. I think everything was a bunch of BS, and I think they were trying to talk others up to see if Zach drops to them. And I think they're going to take Justin Fields when it's all said and done, because I still think he's the best player that's available right now. And all the knocks on him, to me, were all BS. And if you don't take him, I think it's an irresponsible move on their part when it's all said and done. So I like Justin here.
Justin Fields makes too much sense. To me, he is ready for the next step. This guy, I think, is going to be dynamite in the NFL. And when I compare Justin Fields to someone like Mac Jones, I just think Mac Jones is going to get hurt so much at the next level by his statuesque traits and his limited mobility. That's not the sort of quarterback you should be drafting at 3rd overall in 2021. Now, with that said, call me a sucker. Maybe I bought into too much of what Mike Shanahan wants us to think over the last couple of weeks, but I don't know. I'm thinking Mac Jones is going to be the pick here, and I made a wager plus 140 on Mac Jones to be the 3rd overall pick. I've got to make up for losing that bet on the color of Trevor Lawrence's wife's dress. So I'm hoping it's Jones.
Is there a betting company out there that wants to join our station and sponsor this man's segment? Because Lord knows we need something to pay for all his debt.
I've got 5 open bets the rest of the way in this draft.
Yeah. Yeah.
So listen, I don't know. It really should be. It really should be Justin Fields here. Now, we've been hearing for a long time about, the 49ers front office, whether it be John Lynch and Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, not having a disagreement over whether it should be Mac Jones or it should be Trey Lance, who's a little bit more of a project. So Justin Fields' name has rarely even gotten brought up. So maybe that's the smokescreen.
And what's his faithful to the Bay? I'm faithful to the Bay too, bro. Biscayne Bay. What's up with that? Here's the commissioner.
With the 3rd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
Justin Fields goes now. Atlanta takes Justin Fields, Pitts and Chase.
Yeah! Let's do it, Tommy!
This is the best move right now for the Dolphins. We talked about this.
Oh, this is looking good.
We talked about this in the opening segment, that we want Trey Lance or Mac Jones to go at 3. Why do we want that? Because Justin Fields will go to 4.
Get it right, Atlanta.
That's a hell of a move. I got to tell you, Arthur Smith right now, he's got to be sexually excited right now. He's got to be. He's got to be. He's got to be horny as hell right now. I mean, Justin Fields just fell on your lap. The 2nd best quarterback in the draft fell in your lap. They will take him, and Chris Greer will be right. And it'll be all about Pitts or Chase.
Wow.
And it looks like Cincinnati will take Jamar instead.
Yeah.
And Pitts goes to Miami.
Yes, let's do it. Let's
This
freaking
is the
go.
best scenario that can happen for the Miami Dolphins right now. This was awesome. We told you that if Mac Jones or Trey Lance go to San Francisco, and let me tell you something, Trey Lance makes way more sense than Mac Jones
He does.
for San Francisco. And Justin Fields, oh my Lord, he's perfect for Atlanta. I mean, Arthur likes guys that can move around, athletic, and he's got a dude that is deadly accurate. This is awesome. I'm getting excited. I'm getting just absolutely pumped, because if everything goes well in the next 6 minutes, we're going to hear the name Justin Fields. And if Justin Fields happens, baby, we're home free, man.
Listen, and Matty Ice is not getting any younger, right? They have to be planning the future there.
It's the right move.
Listen, I know that his contract is leveraged due to that restructure, but still, you have to be planning for your future. You have to be planning for 2 years down the road when you can cut bait on his contract, okay? So a guy like Justin Fields falls to you at number 4. I mean, a couple of months ago, we never imagined Justin Fields would fall that far, right? The conventional wisdom was, of course, Trevor Lawrence has always been penciled in as the number 1 pick, but then the second overall guy would be Justin Fields. For a number of different reasons, that has changed, okay? Zach Wilson climbed up the boards. Trey Lance has climbed up the boards. And listen, with Trey Lance, there is some bust potential there, given North Dakota State, limited number of games started, only played 1 game last year, but athletically, he's got an incredibly high ceiling, okay? So that to San Francisco makes a lot more sense than Mac Jones. Mac Jones, you have been smoke-screened, right?
Yes.
This guy's name has been used for the past few weeks.
I was never buying Mac Jones.
I bought it enough to bet it, but you know what? I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I can still recover.
Randy, I just sent Randy McMichael, if they pass up on Fields, they're morons. And Randy McMichael goes to me, I think they will, though.
Oh, man, and he knows the Falcons.
He's a tight end, and he's in love with, obviously, Pitts.
Yeah.
So he might be a little biased and a little blinded by it, but you got to do what's best for your franchise. You know, Pitts is beautiful. I love Pitts, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be objective, obviously, about it. But if you don't have a future for a quarterback, and again, it's what Andrew Brandt said on my show on Wednesday. He said the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one.
Yeah.
And dude, Matt Ryan moves slightly faster than the Statue of Liberty. It's time, dude. It's time, please. So this is really, really good. Wait a minute. Hey, whoa. Who was that? Oh, okay. I see.
That's Trey Lance.
That was also
that's Trey Lance.
Trey there? Okay.
Yeah, that's
there
him.
We go. Okay. So I was going, whoa.
I'll be honest. I didn't know what he looked like until
like
today.
hat, by the way.
I watched like 3 hours of pre-draft coverage. I'm like, oh, that's what Trey Lance looks like. Same thing with Zach Wilson. Like, I've seen Zach Wilson throw, but when it comes to looking at his face, I had no clue. I couldn't pick the guy out of a police lineup.
Right.
But today I know what both Zach Wilson and Trey Lance look like. I'm kind of proud of myself.
And how about this? Maybe Atlanta was talking, maybe everybody was talking for Atlanta about Pitts and this and that, because that's what Atlanta wanted to do. Send out that they're in love with a position player, not a quarterback. And they don't want to show any love for Justin Fields. They don't want to show any love for Zach Wilson because they wanted to see if maybe one of them falls to them. So maybe they sent out smoke signals the entire time about Pitts because it's so obvious that it would go in that direction. Now, to me, again, things are supposed to make sense, right?
Uh-huh.
It doesn't make sense to take Zach Wilson too. Even though my pro people tell me they like him more than Justin, it doesn't make sense that Trey Lance, who's very raw, you're taking him at 3, and now it's Justin Fields. So the stuff that doesn't make sense is kind of what's gone on in 2 out of 3 picks. So if they do go with Pitts here, then the stuff that doesn't make sense continues to happen in this draft. That's the way we got to look at it. As good as Pitts is, you do not pass up a franchise quarterback. I'm sorry.
Still, though, my thing, not to rain on the parade, but I can make the argument for Kyle Pitts, and the argument is if you're going BPA, he's the best player available right now in this draft. Like, I get it. Quarterback gets valued more than other positions, but honestly, to me, Kyle Pitts is, at worst, the 3rd best overall player in this draft.
This is the guy I would put in front of him.
Yeah?
This is the guy. That's the thing. I'm with you if we were talking Zach. I'm with you if we're talking Trey. I'm with you if we're talking Mac.
I'm still not sure. Okay, I think about it this way. I think hold on.
You got to take
if we're right, and that's the trump card is the quarterback thing. But just straight up, if you were to ask me, who do I think is more likely to be a Hall of Famer in 20 years?
Oh, God.
Kyle Pitts or Justin Fields? It's Kyle Pitts. So that's what I'm saying. Like you have a chance. You have a chance to draft a guy who's probably going to have a bust in Canton in 20 years. Like that's what makes it hard to pass up.
Super Bowl, you want Fields over Pitts.
Okay.
right?
But maybe you win a Super Bowl next
Okay.
year with Matt Ryan
All right,
slinging it
let's-
to Kyle Pitts.
The commissioner is making his way to the podium. Will the draft that doesn't make sense continue, or will it get back on track, make sense, and Fields goes right here?
Here we go for Atlanta at number 4. Here's the commissioner.
With the 4th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Kyle Pitts, tight end, Florida.
Makes sense, continues.
It's nice knowing you. I kind of like his suit. I couldn't pull that off, but I don't know.
There's a baby that's got back there too. Anyway, so the draft that doesn't make sense continues.
Now, do we have a prayer of a chance that the Bengals decide to go Penei Sewell?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Huh?
We got another scenario coming up.
Oh, scenario time.
You either take the receiver from Alabama, Jalen Waddle. You either take Penei Sewell, like I talked about, or you grab Justin Fields and you trade him now for a boatload
Oh.
of picks.
Oh.
Because somebody,
I like
because
that.
Cincinnati has got Burrow, and they're stupid. So they're going to take Jamar Chase because that's the obvious pick now instead of, I mean, this is the draft. This is the draft that doesn't make sense. So what makes sense is to take Penei Sewell here if you're Cincinnati. I mean, that's what makes it. But this is the draft that doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, then you take Jamar Chase. And if it doesn't make sense, then Miami uses, now they're working the phones right now. Hey, you need a quarterback? Hey, Denver. Hey, San Francisco. Hey, whatever. You need a quarterback? We got a quarterback for you. Justin Fields might be falling to us. So all of a sudden, I got to tell you something. Some of you out there might look at this as a negative if Jamar's gone also. But if Miami gets Justin Fields for a trade again and loads up more picks, and you know how to draft, you're fine. It's not right now. I thought it was working in the way that if it made sense, you get Pitts or Chase. Now, if they take Chase, which doesn't make any sense because you need Penei to protect your kid, then all of a sudden now Miami has an opportunity to collect more picks by trading Justin Fields.
It would not surprise me whatsoever if when the Dolphins are on the clock, instead of saying pick is in, it says trade.
Right.
That would not surprise me whatsoever.
It should not. And we've got 5 minutes now to find out what Cincinnati's going to do.
I'm pleading with the Bengals.
Will they do what makes sense?
Yeah.
Or will they continue the draft that makes no sense?
I am pleading with the Bengals front office. I know you listen. Have you seen the scar on the knee of your starting quarterback?
Yes.
Do you know how that scar got there? You have to protect this guy. Penei Sewell looks the part. This guy is a monster, right? I mean, when I compare, I know a lot of people also like Rashawn Slater, but he's a little shorter. He's a little compact as a tackle. Penei Sewell, you see this guy walking down the street, you say, that's a Pro Bowl left tackle.
Yeah.
Right? But this guy was mauling people at Oregon. I hope Cincinnati does the right thing. You have a franchise quarterback. You invested the number 1 overall pick in a year ago. He got hurt midway through the season, blew out his knee because you couldn't protect him. Do what you have to do, Cincinnati, to make sure Joe Burrow can stay upright for the next 10 years. Penei Sewell is the man who can make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, that's what makes sense. Would they actually do it? That's the whole deal right there. Will they actually pull the trigger? Now, I know Cincinnati, I'm looking it up now, but they have a history of picking linemen in the first round. And so they have done it in the past.
Right.
So hopefully under Mike Brown.
You know why I think they do it? They do it because they're cheap and they think the second contract won't cost as much for a lineman.
Right. Well, or they just write him out for 5 years. But,
Right.
Cedric Obuhi was selected 21 in the first round. Jonas Williams was selected 11 in 2019. Andre Smith was selected number 6 in 2009. So Levi Jones in 2002 was the 10th overall pick. So under Mike Brown, Willie Anderson in 96 at number 10 overall. So under Mike Brown,
Good.
they have a history of picking offensive tackles. So it's not something that's new to them or it's unknown or it's something that they normally don't do. They do this often in drafts. So it would not be something weird for them to pick up Penei Sewell. And remember, a lot of the tackles that you want after that are gone by the time they pick again.
Yeah.
So they have to decide, do we get what we need right now to protect Joe Burrow, or do we then move on from the pick and then all of a sudden, put ourselves in a difficult position because we got a playmaker, but we might have our quarterback on his ass because he can't find the playmakers.
Speaking of that, I love the comment from Super V in the chat. He says, I hope Matt Ryan gets sacked on every passing play next year. Because they passed on Penei Sewell. Oh, my God. So, yeah, you have to wonder what's going to happen here. But, going back to the Kyle Pitts pick, the reason why, this is a player that I covet so much, and he's now an Atlanta Falcon, which makes me a little bit sad. But Kyle Pitts at the next level, this guy as a tight end has this unbelievable combination of speed. So covering him with a linebacker, good luck. And the size and the catch radius, covering him with a defensive back, good luck. This guy is going to create mismatches all over the field. It's why I talk about Kyle Pitts like he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, because good luck stopping this guy in the red zone. Good luck stopping this guy from moving the chains. He's going to be a fantastic NFL player.
I would imagine right now that Chris Greer is working the phones and saying, hey, if Justin falls to us, the teams that want a quarterback, because that's the only piece that they're going to trade up for. So remember, we are now down to 3 options.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase falls to Miami because Penei goes here. Miami then takes Penei because Jamar Chase went at 5. Or because Jamar went at 5, Miami now trades out of 6 by trading to a team that wants a quarterback for Justin Fields. And let me tell you something. Chris Greer nailed this.
Yeah.
Because he put himself in a position where he also is in a position of strength again. He can settle and get a great playmaker in Waddle. He could get a great tackle if he wants. Or he can continue to collect more draft capital. And we're in the middle of the draft. Desperation sets in. Teams will have to pay more right now than they would have a week ago or 2 weeks ago, because the price for poker goes up. And there's going to be a couple of teams now. The second best quarterback in the draft has fallen to number 6.
Yep.
Okay? Because it's not 5, because Cincinnati's not taking Justin Fields. So Cincinnati's down to 2 players. So this is really, really smart move on behalf of the Miami Dolphins. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, I get it. We fall in love with 2 players, Pitts and Chase. And if it doesn't happen, we think everything's a failure. Which, a lot of you out there thought it was a failure to win games, and they ended up with Tua anyways. A lot of you think sometimes things are failures, and yet they won 10 games last year. So let's look at the big picture. Again, go look at the graph for Bitcoin and Ethereum, the wide graph of it, not the last week, and you'll see the difference. Look at the big picture, and the big picture answers a lot more. So the Bengals pick is in. Now we will find out what's going to happen here, what direction the Dolphins are going to go in. This is going to be a lot of fun, baby.
Well, let's not forget, no matter what happens with the Bengals here at number 5, you're going to have 2 Alabama wide receivers available to you, and I can't help get the memory out of my head of the Alabama Pro Day, Chris Greer getting pretty cozy with Nick Saban, same thing in the national championship game, so there could be interest there.
All right, the commissioner is making his way to the podium. Let's find out what's next, Dolphin Nation.
Here comes Roger Goodell with pick number 5.
With the 5th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU.
Wow. It's Jalen Waddle, it's Penei Sewell, and it's trading Justin Fields now. So this is...
What about Devontae Smith?
Huh?
Devontae Smith.
Well, Devontae Smith is an option. I just think Waddle is the better option right now So I'm saying Waddle. But
Right.
You are right. I shouldn't say that. Waddle, Smith, Panay, or a trade. That's what's happening here right now at this point in time.
You know, I have a feeling that it's going to come down between one of the two Alabama wide receivers. And again, like, I'm not ruling anything out. And like you said, this is the draft that doesn't make sense, right? A trade down would not surprise me. A wacky situation involving drafting Justin Fields and then trading him later would not surprise me. But I just think about the Tua connection. You're talking about players he has rapport with. You know, the first touchdown pass of his career, that unbelievable throw in the national title game when he was a true freshman, was thrown to Devontae Smith. He's got the connection with Jalen Waddle as well. I keep thinking of how cozy Chris Greer was with Nick Saban, you know, during the Alabama Pro Day. So I don't know, man. I've got this sneaking suspicion that it's going to come down between Smith or Waddle here. Now, like you, I lean to Waddle. To me, he projects out better as a pro. I get a little bit worried about Devontae Smith's size. And I look at Jalen Waddle, and I think there's a lot of Tyreek Hill in that player when it comes to the speed, the explosiveness. Now, Devontae Smith is probably the better route runner, probably the best route runner, you know, coming out of college right now. But Jalen Waddle is no slouch in that department either. And Jalen Waddle can also be really dangerous as a return man, right? That guy runs back some kickoffs and some punts. He's a game changer in that regard as well. So I'm leaning to Waddle here. Smith wouldn't surprise me either.
Well, we're going to find out now. We got about 4 minutes until the Miami Dolphins pick. And, yes, we got 4 minutes until the Miami Dolphins pick. Oh, wait a minute. The pick is in.
The pick is in.
The pick is in.
And they're not trading it.
No, they're not trading it. Wow.
See, Chris Greer, he's not messing around, That guy's not wasting any time like Urban Meyer.
Yeah, no. They like I told you, you have a plan in place. You prepare for every scenario possible. So both the two top guys that we wanted are gone. So the next guy in line, who is it? And I got to tell you that this decision made so quickly.
Yeah.
That tells you the kind of conviction they already had.
Could be
in the
Penei
player.
Sewell.
Yeah.
They could have said, you know what, I can't believe he fell at 6.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, is there any chance that they pick Justin Fields here with the trade in place?
I think it would say trade.
It should have been.
Yeah.
No, usually you make the trade before.
Usually make the trade
But
before.
Would you trade it after? Like you
It's
already
possible.
have something.
Could be a power
like,
play.
Like they pick for you later on, and then they give you the rest of the package.
Well, yeah, I mean,
later.
you remember the whole Philip Rivers, Eli Manning fiasco.
Right.
The Chargers went through with picking Eli. They
Yes.
picked him, and then they traded him later.
Right.
It's happened before.
So maybe they've got a deal in place for Justin. Although
I think if they had a deal in place,
yes,
they would have said
I
pick us
agree
in.
with you because they would have already worked the phones
Yeah.
already. So it looks to me like, all right, I'm gonna guess here. I'm gonna listen. It's the draft that doesn't make sense, right? So I'm gonna go with Jalen Waddle here. I think it's gonna be because you think about it. I like I told you at 18, I really like the tackles there.
Yeah.
I think they can get themselves a really good tackle there. Whether it's the Oklahoma State guy, the Virginia Tech guy, I think one of them is going to be in that area at 18. So get the playmaker now, okay? So I think it's going to be Waddle when it's all said and done.
You know what? I see a lot of people in the YouTube chat saying, oh, my God, Chris Greer made a terrible mistake. He should have kept the 3rd pick. Let's remember 2 things. They have an extra first-round pick because of that trade, and also – how do you know Chris Greer wasn't in love with Jalen Waddle, right? I mean, people are assuming that Chris Greer – I mean, people were assuming that Chris Greer made that deal thinking he could still get Pitts or Chase. How do you know he doesn't covet Jalen Waddle?
Right, yeah. He listen, I know that I'm telling you, a lot of the NFL people I talk to, they love Jalen Waddle. Absolutely love Jalen Waddle. So I would not be surprised if that's the pick here. I know a lot of people had Devonta Smith, but I just think that in this case, they're going to lean more to Waddle when it's all said and done. You know, some of the guys that I talk to, they go, Devonta doesn't win the Heisman. It might have been Waddle that ends up winning it all if he stays healthy and stays on the field. So who knows, man? We're going to find out. But I got all the faith in the world in this Dolphin front office, and I think they'll be able to make the right pick when it's all said and done. The interesting part was, if they really – now, here's the other thing I want to remind you guys.
Yeah.
If they're picking Waddle, it's because they absolutely love him and they don't want to trade down because then they'll miss out on the player that they love.
Right.
And that's the other reason why they're at 6. They went back to 6 because they must love 3 players. And it must have been Pitts Chase, and then the third player, either Waddle or Smith or Panay. I think it's going to be Waddle when it's all said and done.
And I think about the possibilities. You can line Jalen Waddle up in the slot. Like you could have on the field at the same time Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle in the slot. Tua Tagovailoa is going to be living the dream next year.
Oh yeah, please. You guys wanted speed and playmakers? Jamal Waddle, Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller, and Gesicki are 3 amazing playmakers. And listen, it now puts a lot less pressure on Parker, and here we go.
Pick is in, and the commissioner is here.
With the 6th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama.
Yes! Waddle!
I love his suit. He's ready for South Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's
look at him.
He's ready. There you go.
I love the pick.
Is that Devonta saying congrats to him? Yeah, I think so. Right?
He doesn't look skinny enough to be Devontae. I'm not sure.
It's a good pick, man. It's a good pick. You guys wanted speed. You got dangerous speed now. This is a guy that can house it any single time he's on the field. With Will Fuller, with Jalen Waddle, you have changed the complexion of the Dolphin offense. It has got deadly speed now that you are going to – listen, I want you to go to our podcast and listen to Aaron Wilson talk about Will Fuller.
Yeah.
Okay? And I had Aaron on 2 days ago on our show, and he was fantastic. I asked him about Bernardrick McKinney and Will Fuller, and because he covered those guys from day one. I'm telling you, Waddle is an excellent pick for the Miami Dolphins. I love this move for them overall. That was the 3rd guy I had in line. That's the 3rd guy they had in line. And now we move on to 18, where I think the right tackle ends up going, or a defensive end, outside linebacker, pass rusher.
You're going to be stretching the field with Jalen Waddle's speed, and every time this guy makes a catch, whether you're throwing it to him 6 yards down the field or 60 yards down the field, he can take it to the house on every play. I mean, how many times in years past, during the Ryan Tannehill era, I'm sorry to bring up, hard times, but, obviously you and I both picked apart Tannehill, but we also said, where are the playmakers, right? You don't have the guys who can take it to the house on every play. Now the Miami Dolphins have multiple wide receivers with Fuller and now Jalen Waddle, who are threats to take it to the house on every play. You're going to take so much pressure off your quarterback with the way you can now stretch the field. So I am loving this. And hey, the reasons why I've been saying this for weeks, why I prefer Jalen Waddle over Devontae Smith, it's not only about Devontae's size and frame, it's also about the explosiveness. Yes, if you had drafted Devontae Smith, you're getting a sure-handed, sneaky fast, but not blazing wide receiver. Whereas with Jalen Waddle, you're getting a whole different dimension. Like Devontae Smith, great route runner, smooth route runner, but Jalen Waddle to me is going to be so dangerous at the NFL level.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Tito Benash is down at the studios driving it. We got Sean, of course, putting it all together along with Abel. Great work by them. Alex Dotto and myself are coming to you live from Sports Grill here in Miami at 114 and Bird Road. We'll be here tomorrow night for day 2 of the draft, and we'll cover the 2nd and 3rd rounds. So come on out here and join us and have some great food and drink. Hang out with Dolphins out here. Have a good time. Watch the broadcast if you can't be here. Listen to the broadcast. Many ways to connect with us. We appreciate it. Back with more right here with OnsideRadio.com's coverage of the 2021 NFL Draft. We are back, baby, here at Sports Grill. And the Detroit Lions, by the way, have made a pick, and they went with Penei Sewell as the selection in the draft. Now we've got the Panthers going, and I would imagine that they need a wide receiver. They made a trade for a quarterback. Devonta Smith could be the next guy on the board.
Oh, let's do it. And that Big O, I'm 0 for 2 so far tonight, but I have Devonta Smith under 11.5 for his draft position. So as long as he gets taken before number 12, I win. And I'm already losing all my money tonight, so I've got to win a bet somewhere.
Yeah, and by the way, now we have Justin Fields falling like a rock. So I'm starting to wonder, what is it we don't know? Seriously, I'm not wondering what is it that they know that we don't know, because it's not about work ethic, and it's not about what were some of the his epilepsy. Doesn't work hard enough. There's something there, because a guy this talented does not fall this far, and we saw it with Aaron Rodgers, and he started falling and falling and falling, and obviously Green Bay got the break. Well, the Eagles picked number 12. They need a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
The Broncos, they need a quarterback at number 9. So it's interesting right now that there are a couple of teams. I know they traded for Teddy Bridgewater, and I know they've got Drew Lock, but they still could take Justin Fields if he lands to them at number. And let me tell you something. If the Broncos pass him up at 9, then there's something going on.
Well, you know what might be going on with the Broncos? There's a lot of noise about them really pushing for Aaron Rodgers. Now, the latest that I've seen from that, courtesy of Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, is Broncos are very interested. Rodgers is interested in Denver, but as of the past hour, they are not in open dialogue. So don't expect that trade to happen draft night. Like, don't expect the Broncos to pull off a deal tonight for Aaron Rodgers.
Broncos say, hey, maybe we get our quarterback. We don't want to make any moves right now.
Maybe.
And if they get Justin Fields, then they don't have to talk about trade. But if Justin Fields goes to actually, Broncos are before. So Broncos at 9, and then the Eagles at 12 are the two teams that are next in line for Justin Fields. So this is where the drama develops for Justin Fields as he sits in the green room waiting for somebody to pick him.
He's the next Aaron Rodgers. Right? You remember when Aaron Rodgers was in the green room for a day and a half?
We saw Brady Quinn fall too, but it didn't turn into anything because he landed with Cleveland and he never made anything out of his career, and he bounced around all over the place, and he just, wasn't good enough, unfortunately for him. So we've seen some of these stories where the guy drops, and so what Justin is going through is nothing new. Now, listen, it may be just like Brady Quinn or Aaron Rodgers. These teams don't think that you're good enough, so they're not taking you.
Yeah.
And so they're letting you fall and letting you fall, and there was nothing wrong with Aaron Rodgers. There was nothing wrong with Brady Quinn. They were normal human beings. They weren't criminals or anything like that. Maybe that's what it is with Justin Fields. Maybe there isn't anything that we don't know, and maybe he's just falling because teams aren't convinced. They saw something in his game they didn't like.
Let me tell you something, though. Fields may fall a little farther here. I don't think he's fallen past New England at number 15.
No.
That's one that scares me, okay? Because
they'll settle for Mac Jones over there.
But you think they would take Jones over Fields, though?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. You're right. So if he gets taken before, then New England will probably take Mac Jones. You think, maybe he's the next Tom Brady, right? But no.
But I gotta tell you something. Taking Mac Jones is so screwed up if you're New England, because you're running a completely different offense with Cam Newton.
Yeah, you are.
And so if Cam gets injured, the kid has to come in, and now you have to change everything up because he can't do anything that Cam does.
Right.
That's not who he is. So it's really going in a completely other direction if you're New England and you actually draft Mac Jones. It's going back to what you were with Tom Brady.
Right.
But, boy, he better beat Tom Brady, because in order for you to play the game as a statue, you better be great at reading and reacting.
Because the thing about, people can call Tom Brady a statue. He's obviously not mobile, but he has such a skill for climbing the pocket. I mean, the awareness. So
Marino was like that too.
exactly. So what Tom Brady and Dan Marino before him lack in mobility, they make up for with the vision, the sixth sense of knowing where the pressure is coming from, and the ability to climb.
Commissioners at the podium. Let's see if Devonta Smith goes here.
The podium to announce it right now.
With the 8th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select J.C. Horn, defensive back, South Carolina.
Absolutely amazing. In the wide receiver, they went with the corner. It's between him and Surtain as two of the top corners in this draft. And so Surtain now will have to wait. Maybe the Broncos now go with it. So all of a sudden, Devonta Smith is falling. Justin Fields is falling. Okay? This is the drama developing for those two players. Hey, why don't the Dolphins get greedy? Devonta Smith falls to 18. You take him too.
Oh, I love that idea. But let me. I want to say a few words on J.C. Horn. Now, I kind of had a suspicion that Horn was going to get taken before Patrick Surtain Jr. Now, I think Surtain is going to end up probably going to Dallas at number 10. Would be my guess. But the thing that I love about J.C. Horn is the guy is gigantic for a cornerback, a 6'1" physical corner. He's got the size and physicality advantage over Patrick Surtain II, which is why I suspected Horn may be the first corner taken. So I'm a little puzzled by it as well, because like you, I thought we were going to be seeing a wide receiver going here, but J.C. Horn is not a bad pick. If they decided to go best player available, that they must have thought this is the guy we need here.
One of our listeners on the YouTube chat board says, taking a first-round pick for Jalen Waddle is a total joke. This GM malpractice. No one would ever have justified such a trade in advance. He's a top 6 pick. That's what you have to do. That's how you do it. And they didn't trade a first-round pick, Leon. They got a first-round pick and moved up a round to get Jalen Waddle, you dummy. Do you understand what happened? They got a boatload of picks from going to 3 to 12, and then they got moved up and they gave some of that real estate. But they ended up picking Jalen Waddle and picking up a first-round pick and moving up from the 4th to the 3rd. Leon, come on, buddy. Let's go. Wake up. Smell the coffee. They didn't trade a first-round pick. They got a first-round pick for taking Jalen Waddle. Again, see, that's the problem. And this happens in all the world now. It's fake news, it's misinformation, and you send it out there, and like Leon says, something completely irresponsible, and then others pile on. They go, yeah, you're right, Leon. And no, he's not right. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. My God.
Honestly, I'm happy
Seriously.
with the way. Okay, this is probably someone who doesn't rate Jalen Waddle. He only played a handful of games last year.
They traded a first-round pick to get Jalen
No,
Waddle.
he's wrong. He's wrong.
They didn't. They
He's
moved
wrong.
From 3 to 6.
They got an extra first-round pick.
That's what they did.
And you know what? Obviously, Chris Grier felt better about what he could get at number 6 versus what he could get at number 12. Because guess what? Jalen Waddle wasn't going to fall to number 12. I don't expect Devonta Smith to fall to number 12 either, right? So you wouldn't have had any of that flexibility. Had you stayed at 12, you're not getting Pitts or Chase or Waddle or Smith.
You're not getting the elite receivers. That's it. That's all. And Jalen Waddle is one of the elite receivers. It's Jamar Chase, Waddle, and Smith. Those are your elite receivers. And they probably won't even make it to 12.
Right.
So you ended up and they wanted Waddle. Remember, that's the thing. They didn't want Smith. They wanted Waddle.
Right.
That's why they put themselves in that position, said, these are the 3. We know 3 quarterbacks are going. Who are the 3 position players we love? And that's what they did.
Exactly.
They love Pitts, Chase, and Waddle. And Waddle's the guy that they ended up taking. I mean, seriously. It's like, you deal with Joe Philbin and Cam Cameron and Randy Mueller and Spielman and Ireland and Sperano and Pat White and all this crap, and all of a sudden these guys take over, they clear out your cap, They load you up with picks. They win 10 games in their second year. It looks like they found a real head coach. Looks like they found their quarterback. And we got people complaining. Again, big picture, folks. Big picture.
Well, 20 years of bad drafting and just bad general managing. People don't trust anybody in charge right now. Like, I wonder where they draw the line. So those of you who think Chris Grier is a bumbling idiot, what's it going to take for you to change your mind? Do they have to win a Super Bowl? Do they have to get to a Super Bowl? Like, at what point are people going to start giving Chris Grier some credit? This guy put a wrecking ball to the mistakes of Mike Tannenbaum and Adam Gase and everybody that was there before them. He got the Dolphins out of salary cap hell. He actually got them in a really good financial situation while compiling a lot of draft picks and making a lot. Perfect? No, but he's making a lot of sound moves. I absolutely believe in what Chris Grier is doing here.
And by the way, if they make the playoffs this year, okay, in 3 years, the guy finds a quarterback, a coach, and makes the playoffs and cleans out the cap and loads it up with picks. I don't know what more you want. It's like people don't realize what happened the last 25 years, and you keep forgetting about all the crap that went on for 25 years, and look what's gone on in 2 years. This is the fastest rebuild in NFL history.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever torn it down the way they have to the bone and then rebuilt it, and in their second year, they're winning 10 games. Come on, man. I mean, give me a break.
I got to wonder now who's going to fall to number 18. I mean, could Micah Parsons fall all the way down? Could Zaven Collins fall to number 18? I'll tell you, who I really like, and I might just be a sucker for an amazing story, but I become a big fan of Kwity Paye out of Michigan, the defensive end. And I think that he might end up being a little bit underrated in this draft because Michigan didn't know how to use that guy. They were moving him all around the line. They were moving him inside, lining him up over the center. If he could have focused at the edge at defensive end, he would have put up probably double the stats that he put up in college. And you're talking about a guy who motivated, his work for everything. His family emigrated over here from war-torn Liberia. They got out of a civil war, so I'm a really big fan of Kwity Paye, whether he ends up in Miami or ends up somewhere else. I think I might even rate him slightly higher than both of the Miami guys. And I'm sorry for being a blasphemer here, but Kwity Paye at number 18, if he falls that far, that's the guy I like.
Jeff Darlington, by the way, reports that I know this is one of those what else are they going to say deals, but I'm told and truly believe the Dolphins wanted Waddle all along over Smith and Chase.
Wow.
Yes, they assumed Chase would be gone, but they wanted Waddle over him regardless, and so Miami got its guy. Listen, man, there's a different front office. I keep telling you guys and ladies out there, because we got the ladies, welcome to Alexa V in the house, and I know Lisa's watching too. So listen, it's a different front office, and you guys gotta overcome this stuff and stop worrying about the negativity so much and look at the big picture and what they're doing. You wanted speed on the field. You wanted playmakers. That's exactly what Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle are.
Right.
I love what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're going to be able to line up Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, and Will Fuller in the same offensive formation. You're going to be stretching the field like crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And you know what? Oh, I think we got a pick in here. Let's go to the commissioner.
All right, here we go, the commissioner.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Pat Surtain, Jr., defensive back, Alabama.
Panthers at number 8.
I really thought that Surtain was going to fall to Dallas at number 10. So now you have to wonder, does Jerry Jones maybe go for Micah Parsons? He's got to go defense. I mean, I think he's crazy, Jerry, if he goes offense, because he's got a stacked offense already. They need to improve that defense. So now, big question with the Cowboys with about 7.5 minutes on the clock.
The Broncos were kind of looking for a cornerback too.
Yeah.
But now a quarterback has fallen to the Broncos' lap now, and they can take Justin Fields. Again, if he doesn't go here to the Broncos, then I would imagine he's going to go to the Eagles.
No.
at number 12.
The Broncos just drafted Surtain.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So the Eagles will get it now
Right.
at number 12. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
So and listen, Pat Surtain, what a player! Son of a Miami Dolphins legend. It's gonna be weird watching it makes me feel old to watch the son of Surtain. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I was just covering his dad a few years ago. I guess it's been like 15, 18 years now to this point. But no, listen, I think that's a solid pick by the Broncos. And again, with the Broncos not going quarterback, it means Justin Fields is still on the board. And it also means I wonder if the Broncos are smelling a potential deal for Aaron Rodgers. I wonder if the Broncos are thinking we can actually make some progress in the next couple of days and bringing the disgruntled Green Bay Packer future Hall of Famer to Denver.
So the question is, where does Dallas go now?
Oh, man. Who would you say is the best defensive player available? Might it be Micah Parsons? Might it be Owusu Karamoa from Notre Dame?
If they want one, they can go with Caleb Farley, and they can actually select him. He's obviously one of the top corners in this draft, so that could be an option for them right now. And they gotta show up that defense, dude. I mean, they could go pass rusher here too. You know, they could go Micah Parsons if they want to go with an outside linebacker that can do it all.
Yeah.
That might be an option for them right now. But I'm looking at probably Caleb Farley, Micah Parsons, or I'm trying to see here, and Kwity Paye.
Yeah, God, I like Kwity Paye a lot.
So it could be your boy could go here right now. If they're going to go defense, then I would imagine that it's going to be Caleb Farley, Kwity Paye, and Micah Parsons here. And Micah, by the way, isn't Micah the one that has a couple DUIs?
Yes.
He fits perfectly with Dallas. Jerry Jones loves those kind of guys. So right there.
Now it's starting to make me wonder, how far is Devontae Smith going to fall, right?
Well, they certainly don't need him.
No, they don't. They don't.
They just picked
Now,
CeeDee Lamb last year.
Now, for what it's worth, and this is one of the reasons why I made my bet of Devontae Smith under 11.5 for draft position. I was told by a buddy of mine who covers the New York Giants that it's his understanding they really like Devontae Smith, and if he falls to 11, they're not going to let him fall past 11. So I am wondering if the Giants could be a player for Devontae Smith, but he's falling down the board. And, of course, the quarterback, Justin Fields, continues to fall down the board. But like you said, Philadelphia could be the spot for him.
Well, I mean, Philadelphia's right there. They're knocking on the door now. And the two teams in front of them don't need a quarterback. Dallas and the Giants don't need a quarterback. So Philadelphia will have a shot now at Justin Fields. And if he doesn't get selected there, Chargers don't need a quarterback. Minnesota's already committed to their quarterback. Oh, Dallas has traded the pick.
Oh, wow.
They traded the
They
pick
traded to the Eagles.
So the Eagles have moved up for what?
So
for
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields?
It's got to be.
Oh, they must have known somebody else was trading
Yeah,
in.
that's what it is.
That's
So
what
they
it
weren't
is.
worried about somebody else picking him. They were worried about New England trading up,
Right,
I bet.
New England. So they were battling New England for the pick. You are so right. Or Vegas, because they're always dying to
Could
get
be.
rid of Carr.
Yeah, Vegas, yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're crazy enough to make those kind of trades. So that would be, or Chicago.
Yeah, could be Chicago as well.
So that's what's going on here. It's not so much that the Eagles were worried that the Giants were going to take them or that Dallas was going to take them. Is that they were competing with other teams for this trade. And you know what? This is a smart move by Dallas. It's a smart move by Dallas because your corner's gone. So now you move down a couple spots and you can still get your corner at that spot. So you pick Caleb Farley there at number 12 instead of at number 10, and you picked up something extra in the process.
I think that's exactly what happened. I think that they were looking at Pat Surtain. When he got picked a spot ahead of them, they said, you know what, let's take advantage of a desperate team for a quarterback. They clearly played a couple of teams against each other because, like you said, I'm sure Philadelphia were not the only team making that phone call.
No, you hit it.
New England for sure. New England definitely. And now you have to wonder, New England could be Mac Jones at number
Right.
15
Well,
now.
Yeah, Mac is going to fall to New England for sure.
For sure.
Because nobody else needs a quarterback. Now, Philadelphia doesn't need a quarterback because they got theirs. The Giants aren't picking it. The Chargers don't need a quarterback. Minnesota is committed, overcommitted to that kid, and Arizona's got their guy. So yeah, Arizona's after New England, so it doesn't matter. But yeah,
Right.
New England is, if they want Mac Jones, they can have him. Go for it. And I love it because Miami will be attacking Mac Jones all over the place and putting him on his butt. So I'm good with that.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
And we're getting closer now to this Dolphin pick, too, which is also really nice because 18 is right around the corner, folks. Only a few picks away. So it's interesting how all of this is working out. And remember, now I may be wrong now, but I think the best value is tackle at 18. And so far, the tackles, whether it's Rashawn Slater, is there still on the board.
Right.
Christian Darrisaw and Tevin Jenkins. Okay? This is the order I want them in. Obviously, I want Rashawn Slater first.
Yeah.
And then I want Tevin Jenkins, and then I want Darrisaw. But you give me any of those three, and I'm super happy because now I know they're building the kind of line that Tua's going to have plenty of time to find his Blazers downfield.
You know, I got to tell you, for me, there are so many options that I would be happy with at number 18. I'm going to co-sign with you on the offensive tackles. I would not be opposed to it, I should say. Now, we had a question from C5 Vet.
It's the same thing you want. You can't oppose a defensive end or a pass rusher because it's something they need also.
Right, but I will admit, because C5 Vet asked a question if we would be happy. Maybe your answer is no, but if we would be happy with Najee Harris at number 18, and that's a guilty pleasure for me. That's a guilty pleasure. Now the thing for me is, I think you could still get a running back in the second round though, right? Because I think you could get Javonte Williams maybe at the 36th overall pick.
Think about this. You could get running backs late. You don't find right tackles late.
Right.
And these are right tackles that you're going to plug and play right now, and they're going to be there for 10 years, and they're going to be around for multiple running backs, okay? And this is the other thing. Some of us are falling in love with running backs like they're going to be here for 10 or 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just not the case anymore. So if you're drafting a guy for one contract or a contract and a half, you know what I mean? Maybe you're better off getting a tackle that has a chance to play 12 to 15 years on your team because you don't let go of tackles. But running backs, they're so replaceable, they're so interchangeable. So, yes, I get the love affair we have with Najee Harris and all that stuff. I just think at 18, there are more effective picks for you and that they will make everybody better. A right tackle makes your quarterback better, makes your running game better, makes your tight end better, makes your receivers better. And so I just think that you'd rather get the player that makes everybody better. The commissioner is headed to the podium with the New York Giants pick at number 11. I'm sorry, the Eagles pick, which is Justin Fields, at number 10. Here we go. He's stopping at the couch with the couch potato. Now, really, what's the over and under? There's 32 of them. How many farted on his chair tonight?
32. 30. I should have.
The 10th pick.
The Dallas Cowboys have traded the 10th pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 10th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Alabama.
I won my bet.
That is amazing.
Under 11.5, baby. Oh!
Wow.
I'm happier about this than I was about Jalen Waddle going to the Dolphins.
Wow.
I finally won something.
Philadelphia, that needed a quarterback, drops him. So now it's
you know
the
what this
Giants
means?
and Dallas. So now New England is in play again, and they've got a shot at Justin Fields.
Oh, Philly, what have you done? Oh, man. Well, and you know what? The thing is, this really surprised me with Philadelphia, but this tells me that they weren't lying when they say they believe in Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe in Jalen Hurts, but apparently the Eagles really do, because you had an opportunity here to get a tremendous quarterback, and you decided to go for a playmaker instead. So listen, for better or for worse, I guess the Eagles are trying to do what the Dolphins are doing with Tua Tagovailoa. Instead of finding the next quarterback, you're going to try to put your current quarterback in every position to succeed.
Well, I got to tell you, Justin Fields' chip on his shoulder is developing into a boulder, and pretty soon it'll be a mountain that's on top of him, because he's going to mark down all these teams that passed him up, and he's going to let them have it if he can, of course, if he can get it done. But motivation for him, for Aaron Rodgers, for players like that, this is it. Now, the interesting part about all of this is Giants don't need a quarterback. Dallas doesn't need a quarterback at 12. The Chargers don't need a quarterback at 13. Minnesota is overcommitted to Kirk Cousins, right? Now, they could draft Justin Fields and play Cousins for a year or two, and then finally part ways with him and move Justin Fields in,
right?
Because they've got him for several years. And if you're not convinced with Cousins, then you're better off. And remember, he doesn't cost you a lot now, because you're picking him at 14 in the draft. So you're not paying him a ton of money over the 5 years. So he's really not a salary cap, a problem for you until you've got to pay him if he's playing. So the Minnesota Vikings are the one bit of hope that if we all hate New England, which we love hating New England, if we want to see New England get screwed again, Minnesota will take Justin Fields and plan for the future.
I like your scenario, because at some point within the next 4 picks, we have to be reaching a point where Justin Fields is going to be BPA on a lot of these draft boards. And teams are going to have to look at it and say, hey, even if I wasn't desperate for a quarterback in the first round, they may have had Justin Fields, like I did, valued as a top 5 or a top 6 pick just on the big board. And if you can get him at 12, 13, 14, you have to at least consider it, in my opinion. So honestly, it's getting to a point where this is a discount. It's like, if you see Ethereum drop below 2,000, you're going to buy the dip.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody might buy that dip now on Justin Fields.
Love that crypto reference. By the way, we have a trade. The Giants have now traded with the Bears at number 11. The Bears could be taking Justin Fields right here.
That's where he's going. It's got to be.
Justin Fields has got to go here. I mean, when you're making this kind of a trade, I would imagine that this is where you're going to go. You need a quarterback. If you're the Bears, this is your opportunity right here. So this trade here, 4 minutes left on the clock. Giants look like they're moving down to the 20th pick in the draft. Bears have moved up to the 11th pick in the draft. So they're moved ahead of New England now. And so now we'll see if they take Justin Fields here. Bears, by the way, need offensive tackle help. So it's either, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait
a minute. We might be talking offensive linemen here too. Rashawn Slater has fallen to number 11 here. He's the best lineman that's available. So this is either a move for Rashawn Slater or Justin Fields. I say it's first Fields, but I'm just going to tell you.
They could use Rashawn Slater.
They needed a tackle.
Yep.
So they were looking for a tackle. So now they see Slater go, because Slater was talked about being a top 10, top 7, top 8. So some people even like Slater ahead of Panay. So he was so talked up that maybe they feel like they've got to move up now to get the second best tackle in the draft. So it'll be interesting. The pick is in, and we'll see if Justin Fields is the guy or Rashawn Slater. I'm going to go with those two. Fields and Slater as the other guy. And remember, Slater's a guy that's super skilled. He can play guard and he can play tackle.
Well, and that's the thing. Honestly, just based on his size, I project him to make a move to guard. He doesn't look like a tackle to me. He's built like a mini fridge, that guy. He is athletic.
So in this league, you've got those athletic ends. You need guys that are light on their feet to kind of stay with them. So that's why I think he can He can, I don't think he'll be a dominant guy like what you're talking about.
Right.
I get what you're saying. Those classic big, beautiful tackles, the Jonathan Ogden types and all that.
Right.
But this guy is so talented that he can play tackle for you because he's got that footwork and the athleticism.
I still, I can understand Rashawn Slater. We didn't think he would fall this far. I've still got to think if you're moving up 9 spots, I think you're doing it for a quarterback because they're not at Rashawn Slater's level, but there would have been tackles available.
Doesn't make sense.
That's a good point.
So
that's a good
why
point.
I wanted to throw Rashawn Slater in there because you traded up for another tackle when you could have waited for a tackle at 20. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
That way, since it's the draft that doesn't make sense and it's hard to predict, I figured it's Justin Fields. But if not, I got to tell you, maybe it's Rashawn Slater.
You know what? If there was, I think the commissioner.
Pick is in. Commissioner's coming to the podium.
The Bears pick as they have traded up with the Giants to number 11. Here's Roger.
Through this year's draft-a-thon, the NFL is supporting our nation's path to recovery from COVID-19 by focusing on the critical issues of mental health, food insecurity, health disparities, and the digital divide. Throughout the pandemic, health disparities widen in communities of color, indigenous communities, and for older and rural Americans. We're joining forces with the CDC Foundation as part of a draft-a-thon to meet the basic needs like nutrition, safety, and health. Carlos Nelson, who's behind me, has been doing just that, leading the Greater Auburn Gresham Development Corporation in Chicago. His dream of creating a federally qualified health center to provide medical care in his neighborhood is becoming a reality with support from the Chicago Bears, and it will open in 2022. Congratulations, Carlos, and please take it away with the Bears selection.
Boy, how exciting is this? With the 11th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, my Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Oh!
The hell with New England!
Yeah!
All right? Belichick, you don't get him, buddy.
Finally a pick that makes sense.
I love it. Yeah, finally a pick that makes sense. There you go.
Although it makes no sense that he fell to number 11.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
I
sense.
mean, the Bears doing it made sense, but
good move.
Fields falling
It's a
out of
good
the
move.
top 10 made no sense.
One of my best friends is in the house here, Bill, and
Bill!
he's a huge Bears fan. So he's got to be happy because he's a Bears fan. He's lived through, like terrible quarterbacks.
They always have bad quarterbacks.
All the dead quarterbacks are there. You know what I mean?
And God, did they screw up a couple years ago with Trubisky? I mean, woof. So listen, I mean, they gave Trubisky every chance to play and succeed.
Yes.
It was time to move on.
Yeah. No, this is a move, man. This is a good move for them. By the way, he's an Ohio State kid. He's not moving too far away.
Yep.
In Chicago, that's not too bad. So it's he's kind of close in the area, so not too bad. A lot of people in the Midwest were pulling for that kid now. They'll pull for the Bears.
One day I would love to read the book somebody writes about how he fell to number 11. I mean, honestly, could it be simply his play was more scrutinized than we give it credit for? Because for me, watching him at Ohio State, and again, I know it's a big program with a lot of weapons, right? But to me, Justin Fields looked like he had everything. Strong arm, athleticism, great deep ball. Like I've tried to read some of the scouting reports to see where they scrutinize this guy. And I've seen people say, his get off is not fast enough and maybe the release isn't always early enough for some of the deep throws. But to me, you can work with this guy. If there are a couple of tiny mechanical things that aren't 100%, you can make him an elite quarterback in this league pretty quick.
I'm with you there. And now Dallas is the next pick. We're going to do this. We're going to take a break. They could be taking Micah Parsons here. Let's take a quick break. We're coming to you live, of course, from Sports Grill here in Miami. Bird and 114th. Come on by. We'll be here again tomorrow night for rounds 2 and 3 on YouTube, live on OnsideRadio.com. Back with more right here on OnsideRadio.com. All right, welcome back to Sports Grill here in Bird Road in Miami, 114th and Bird Road. We'll be here tomorrow for rounds 2 and 3 of the draft. And the pick is in for the Dallas Cowboys. They are selecting at number 12. I think it's either Mike or Kwity Paye. They need some help on defense. They couldn't get their corner. Or they'll go with Jalen. They'll go with the Virginia Tech corner. Here we go.
Oh my God! How about them Cowboys? Woo! Yeah! It was the 12th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The Dallas Cowboys select Michael Parsons. Woo! Linebacker, Penn State. Yeah!
All righty. I told you, Micah Parsons. It would be Micah Parsons, Kwity Paye, or Caleb Farley, 3 players that they need. They probably felt that Farley wasn't up to snuff, so let's take the best linebacker that supposedly is on the board right now in Micah Parsons. The kid does it all.
Yeah.
He can cover, he can go against the run, he's a run stuffer, he's a thumper, he's a tackling machine, he's a secure tackler. He is a complete player. Yeah, he had some off-the-field stuff, but I don't think it's anything that really.
It's like hazing or something, but I mean, listen.
He was part of the hazing incident, not DUI.
Who wasn't in college?
Yeah, it's come on, man. I mean, whatever. It's not a big deal, but it's a good move on their part, man. The kid can play. Sean Lee retired.
Yeah.
They now have with the Notre Dame kid. Boy, they've got a hell of a linebacking core.
Micah Parsons he's NFL ready. There's nothing in his game that you have to put extensive work in. Like you said, this guy can tackle, this guy can cover, this guy has the explosiveness, he's got the size. I had kind of fantasized wondering, is there any chance he falls to 18? I wasn't expecting it. I think this is a really good pick. And listen, we know how starved Dallas was for defense, whether it was a corner or a linebacker. I thought Jerry Jones did a good job. I know people were wondering, is Jerry going to go for a shiny object? We knew that he really liked Kyle Pitts. Was Jerry going to try and trade up to be able to get Kyle Pitts? I honestly think, that in recent years, the son, Stephen Jones, has become kind of a calming presence, right? He's talked Jerry off the ledge a few times. Jerry would have taken Johnny Manziel years ago. That's the guy he wanted. They ended up getting Zach Martin instead, who became a Pro Bowler. So I think Stephen Jones is like the angel on the shoulder of Jerry.
All right, so now we're getting into, at least for me, tackle territory. They're going to take Rashawn Slater here because this becomes Dolphin territory, because I told you I want a tackle. So this is going to be the next tackle off the board. The Chargers need a guy to protect the quarterback, and I would imagine that Rashawn is going to go here because this is like the automatic pick for them right now if you're the Los Angeles Chargers. You got a young quarterback, you got a running game, you got some receivers. You now need to protect him and better that line. Rashawn Slater would be the perfect pick right now for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I can't imagine too many people had Rashawn Slater falling past number 12 on their draft board. So this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity, like you said, to get a guy to protect your franchise quarterback, rookie of the year from last year, and Justin Herbert, who had an awesome season. So this one makes a lot of sense with Rashawn Slater if that's who they go with. But like you said, this is the draft that hasn't always made sense. And I get it, right? Because you're talking about a college football season that was shortened. You didn't have a combine. You had limited pro day availability for social distancing. So you couldn't, and no Senior Bowl or no East-West Shrine game. So you couldn't. Right, so I know you go to that every year. So you couldn't really evaluate and study these players with as much information and ammunition as you can in normal years. So it doesn't surprise me that this is the year where you see a few oddities in the draft process.
And let me read into the draft a little bit. The Chargers, I think they'll go Rashawn Slater. Minnesota, I think, is going to go defense. Will New England take Mac Jones, right? Arizona now, we got to figure that they need a cornerback, so Caleb Farley might be the next guy there, right? And then the Raiders come up, and they need offensive line help.
Yeah.
So there aren't really a lot of offensive linemen going here until Miami picks at 18. So at least what I want at 18, it's going to be there, the 2 tackles. Okay, so that's interesting because one of them is gone now. Rashawn is gone. And listen, I didn't expect him to fall to 18. But I did tell you that whether it's Tevin or Darrisaw, these are 2 guys that I want at number 18. And obviously I know you want your guy Kwity Paye.
Yeah.
He's still on the board. But Kwity Paye could end up going to New England. Kwity Paye could end up going to the Raiders. Raiders need offensive line help. They need D-line help on that team. Minnesota's another one that could also go with D-end. They could go Zaven Collins. They can go Kwity Paye. They can go, I don't know, a jury now with that leg injury that they talked about.
That's right.
I think he's going to drop into the second round now because he might be considered a one-contract guy.
There's a lot of guys still on the board I'd be happy with. I'd be happy with Darashaw or Tevin Jenkins. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State.
Oh God, that's my pick.
You
That's
know
my pick
me.
at 18.
I'm
That's my pick.
going to see Najee Harris sliding down, and I'm going to think. I wonder if Chris Greer wants to take Tuscaloosa south to Miami Gardens. Is there any opportunity at that? But you know, like you said, I also really like Kwity Paye. I also really like Zaven Collins, who could very well still be on the draft board.
Man. Love Zaven Collins. In Miami's scheme, Zaven Collins is beautiful.
Yeah.
In fact, after the 2 tackles, okay, Zaven Collins is the guy that I want at 18. Okay, so we'll see how the draft breaks down. But at the moment, I want my tackles first, and then I want Zaven Collins at number 3. And I love Zaven Collins, man.
Well, let's remember
But
couple.
let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Zaven Collins is the kind of guy the stinking Patriots would take.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Now, let's also remember
multiple.
a couple of other players that still are available now and maybe available at 18. The Miami edge rushers, Greg Rousseau, Jalen Phillips. I'm not.
Love Rousseau.
I prefer Rousseau only because of the injury history. Because Jalen Phillips had the wrist injury, he's got the concussion issues, so
Dude,
he's
he
a
quit
little.
football.
He's
Quit
a little.
football.
Yeah, right. He's a little bit concerning to me for that reason. You know, Rousseau. I know I try, and you tell me this all the time, not to read too much into pro days. I was still a little bit disappointed that Rousseau didn't have the best pro day because it's
Got a
like,
whole
bro,
year off, man. It's
you've
just
been
tough.
sitting around for how long? Like you couldn't prepare to have the perfect pro day. So I was a little bit disappointed by that. Okay, but
Calais Campbell's pro day sucked.
oh, did it? I honestly didn't know that. Really? Oh, okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Oh, by the way, Terrell Suggs' pro day was horrible.
Really?
He ran like a 5-something.
Oh.
He dropped like crazy to the back end of the first round.
Yeah, I
And
remember
the
that.
Ravens said, "Thank you," and they took him because you're a player. You're a player. And when I see Greg Rousseau, that's a player, bro.
Yeah.
He's just raw. That's the one thing he's going to run into in the NFL. You're not going to be able to overpower everybody all the time. You better have technique behind the power. And that's the thing that's the only thing that's hurting Rousseau. A year off, and he's not refined. If he played this last year, he would have had an opportunity to work on his pass rushing skills. And he did not this year, so that hurt him. Out of sight, out of mind, now you're dropping in the draft. You're dropping so much that a guy with injuries is actually, and concussions, has moved in front of you and only had 8 sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, and Jalen Phillips did not have 15 sacks. He had 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I'm just saying.
Well, and with Rousseau,
We're going to get Omar Kelly on
great.
now.
Great. Yeah,
So
and
we'll get to talk to Omar Kelly and get his thoughts after the first pick. The pick is in for the Chargers, and Rashawn Slater is, it just makes sense that it's Rashawn Slater. We'll see here. Okay, I think Minnesota will go defense next. That would be the pick, and that's where Kwity Paye, Zaven Collins. All right, Omar is ready. Let's go to Omar Kelly, of course, from the South Florida Sun Sentinel and our EJDconstruction.com draft report. Omar, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, most of my guys around the league for the last couple months, they had Waddle ahead of Smith. I called them the week he won the Heisman, and most of my NFL people said I'm still taking Waddle over Smith. So it is what it is. A lot of pros felt it. The front office did overall. So now when you look at the pick and you start looking at Fuller and you look at Waddle on the field, the dynamics have changed, my brother. First of all, let's go to the commissioner here for the pick. Oh, okay, forget it.
Slater.
All right, forget it. All right, Rashawn Slater went to the Chargers as we expected. So now the landscape of this offense has completely changed, Omar.
Right. And Omar, before we get to that, I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned that the buzz was pointing to Waddle over Smith, and a lot of the scouts do like Waddle over Smith. Do you agree with that? What was your evaluation pre-draft, Waddle versus Devontae Smith?
All right, so we're talking with Omar Kelly from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. Omar, when you look at now the pick is in, they got Jalen Waddle. What are you looking at now for number 18 at this point? Because I'm still with the tackles. I want my tackles here. I want the Oklahoma State kid, or I want the Virginia Tech kid, or then I want Zaven Collins as my third pick. But I know you want the back to complement it.
Yes.
Yeah, but listen, this is the draft that doesn't make sense. People are falling. People are taking players where they're not supposed to take players. So we're all of a sudden, maybe this is the draft where those running backs do fall to number 36. Who knows at this point? Justin Fields went to 11. They took J.C. Horn in front of Pat Surtain. Some people, Sewell falls to 7. Rashawn Slater falls to 13. This is a guy that was talked about being, top 5, top 7, top 8. Devonta Smith falls to 10. Oh, no, I never believed that.
I bet on it. Bad move.
I still don't think he'll go to 15 to New England. I don't think New England will pick him at 15 either. I agree. Yeah, no, I'm... Yep, I agree. I agree. Oh, by the way, the Jets have moved into the Minnesota's pick at
Ooh.
number 14. So it's the Jets now making a trade at this point, and this is very interesting here.
Oh no.
I don't know if you trade up for that, man. They do need offensive. They do need offensive line help. Yeah, I think it might be offensive line help because now you got your quarterback, and two of the better offensive linemen are still on the board in Darashaw and Tevin. So I think those are obviously nice options for them. Ooh, wow! We are being told that it's Tucker now being selected by
There
the
a Tucker?
Jets. How about that, dude? What do you think about that?
So Omar, I'm with you. Well, and Omar, you're right. And if he's not taking at 18, he's not falling.
All right, we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, but we are through them, which is a beautiful thing. And now Mac Jones gets selected with the number 15 pick in the draft by New England, which is just absolutely crazy. Mac Jones,
How about
QB
that?
with Alabama. And I got to tell you something. I'm happy. I'm super happy because I don't believe in Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is complete Alabama hype, is what I believe. I think his lack of athleticism is going to hurt him in this league, and he is not a guy that is a quick twitch. He's not a guy that is going – he's not the kind of guy that you're going to be able to run and like I told you before, you're going to run a completely different offense with him than you do with Cam. So this is a very awkward situation and an awkward transition for New England and what they're doing.
Yeah, and people sometimes say, well, hey, if you think that Mac is a product of Alabama, what's the difference between Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa? Well, you listed some of those. He doesn't have the athleticism and the twitch that Tua had. So I do believe there is a difference. I do believe Mac Jones
I forgot which game it was, but he juked the linebacker into the end zone, Tua. Remember that?
Yeah.
When he went one way and made the linebacker
Oh,
bite and went.
absolutely.
You're not going to get that from Mac Jones. And Tua is a kid that can reposition himself quickly when there's a pass rush. This kid is not the same. I just think this is one of those where you just get the buzz that went around it. But listen, let me tell you something. Belichick's been a disaster in the draft.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be part of being a disaster in the draft.
Yeah, I remember about a month ago, Robert Kraft was interviewed by a Boston station, and Bob said, hey, over the past few years, since 2017, we have not drafted well. And when he says we have not drafted well, Bill Belichick has not drafted well over the past 3 years. So Robert Kraft was putting Bill on blast. So Mr. Belichick better hope he got this one right, because the next chapter of Belichick's career is going to be tied to whether or not this quarterback works for him.
I think now the top corner that's left right now on the board, Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech, is going to go here to Arizona. The commissioner is at the podium.
16 in the draft, and the commissioner is ready with that.
With the 16th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Zaven Collins, linebacker, Tulsa.
All right, so Zaven Collins, my boy from Tulsa, went. So now for sure I got to get the tackle now at number 18, because the Raiders are picking at number 17, and they need offensive line help. They need defensive line help. So now it's Kwity Paye or it's my guys, whether they go with Christian Darrisaw or they take my boy from Oklahoma State, which I'm hoping that they don't, but Tevin Jenkins is the other option there.
Yeah.
They got to shore up that line. They got to shore up their defense too. Their defense sucks. But they've got it's either or now. I think Kwity Paye is an option for them. I think Jeremiah Owasu, the linebacker.
Owasu Karamoa.
well,
I had to
that's-
say because I've been practicing all week.
Okay, so Notre Dame, that kid, I think are options right now for the the Las Vegas Raiders. By the way, they travel too much, like gypsies. I can't remember their names anymore. Jesus, showing up in every town. So, and we've got a little over 4 minutes for the Raiders pick. What are you feeling right now for the Dolphins at 18?
Oh, it's still so unclear. Like, there are too many options, right? I mean, when you think about my guy Kwity Paye still being on the board,
Yes.
let's not forget both Miami edge rushers are still on the board, right? They could be thinking Greg Rousseau. They might even be thinking, I know you wouldn't be so happy, but they might be thinking Jalen Phillips as well. Right. You have to wonder if Chris Greer might be listening to the conversations Omar Kelly and I have been having over the last couple months where we want Najee Harris.
But are you going to be as disappointed as Omar if they don't take Najee Harris?
No, because again, one of the great things about this draft is I feel like at number 18 there's so much depth there, right? Whereas, number 6 you're thinking, hey, there are only a handful of players I really feel that are worth this investment. We're at number 18. Like, I feel like there's a lot of players who are somewhere in that like 15 to 25 range in terms of prospects that I'd be really happy with. Will I be upset if they end up going with my guy Tevin Jenkins to play right tackle? No. I mean, again, I'll reiterate what I said in the first hour for those who may have tuned in a little bit later. Something that I love about Tevin Jenkins, the right tackle from Oklahoma State, is this guy is a natural right tackle, right? Because so many times when you're taking offensive tackles in the first round, you're usually always getting guys who were left tackles in college, so you either play them at left tackle or you convert them to right tackle. Where in the case of Tevin Jenkins, and of course in Miami, as we know, the quarterback's blind side is on the right side because Tua Tagovailoa is left-handed. So I like the fact that Tevin Jenkins is a natural right tackle. You plug him in on Tua's blind side. He doesn't have to make the adjustment of learning to play on a different side. That, to me, seems like a great plug-and-play option.
I agree with you. I mean, that's going to be the interesting part. Again, this has been the draft that is just, kind of hard to figure out at times and what's going to go on. But it's one of the things that you've said a couple times already tonight. Dolphins have a lot of really good options. If they go Najee Harris, can you complain?
No.
If they go with one of the tackles, can you complain?
Nope.
If they go out and get a defensive end, can you complain?
Quiddy.
Right. They need all those things. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
now the question is Kwity Paye the best value on the board for you? Is it Jeremiah Owusu, the linebacker? Is it Tevin Coleman, the lineman from Oklahoma State? Is it Darashall from Virginia Tech? Did I mention Kwity Paye, Michigan?
Yeah, you did.
So that's the question is, what do you consider the highest value at this point, and what are you going to get more mileage out of? Because it's a first-round pick. You've got the person locked up for 5 years, so you want to make sure you get the kind of player that is really going to help. That's why I'm big on getting the right tackle here.
Give me some wings,
because
too.
I love.
Give me some wings, too.
There we go. Wings. Wings, baby. Wings. Wings.
So sorry, but I see people at the table here ordering wings. I got to get some of my grilled special
because
wings.
I figure we get it like right after the Dolphins pick.
Oh, it's perfect. Stuff my face. I got to tell you.
We're not eating in front of you guys.
Oh, I don't know if you know this, but I once ate 63 chicken wings in one sitting. I can knock down some wings.
Wow.
Yeah, this was when I was in my metabolic prime. I was 19 years old. I was like a thoroughbred, 185 pounds, fast metabolism. I knocked down 63 chicken wings in one sitting.
So there you go. 63 chicken wings. Can you imagine between Sean and Dono here? That's it, bro. We can get into a wing eating contest is what we could do. You know what I mean? So now we are waiting. The pick is in for the Raiders. So now we're going to find out what direction the Raiders are going to go in, and then we know what's left. And remember, they could take one of the two tackles that I want. Again, that doesn't mean that I'm right or anything like that. But if all of you out there that want Najee Harris, he's going to be there because they got a guy by the name of Josh Jacobs. So they don't need a running back.
Right.
They got a very good running back in Las Vegas. So I think they either – hey, by the way, they could select one of the UM guys in Jalen Phillips.
They could. That's a great point.
Or Rousseau. You never know. But Raiders desperately need help on the D-line and on the O-line. So I'm just hoping that they stay on the D-line side and they keep away from especially Tevin. Because I'd hate to be so close to Tevin Jenkins and then all of a sudden I said Coleman again. I have the running back in my mind. With Tevin Jenkins. Here we go to the commissioner.
Over the course of the last few years, let's see if he has another trick up his sleeve. Here comes Roger Goodell.
With the 17th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Alex Leatherwood, tackle, Alabama.
Alabama flavor.
I'm a fan, man. I like this kid, Leatherwood.
Yeah, me too.
He's a good player, man. Leatherwood is a guy that can play tackle and can play guard at the same time. And this is a guy that obviously the Raiders kind of feel flexible about. and so I think it's a pretty good pick.
No, I think it's a great pick, and Leatherwood is probably a name I should have been mentioning a little bit more often. I think that this guy, playing in the SEC, you think about the defensive lineman that this guy was blocking for the last couple of years. He is made for the trenches. This guy is ready to help the Raiders immediately.
Yeah, I'm with you there. My man Carlos from Sports Grill has stepped in the house.
Yeah!
So he's ready. He's a big Dolphins fan, so he's happy. Yes, we're happy as always.
He's not happy with Waddle. He doesn't like Waddle.
Oh no, it's coming now. I think it's at 18. 7.
A tackle.
A tackle's coming now. I think so.
Well, nobody's as big as Panay.
Yeah. No, this guy's a house. So we'll see. Oh, okay.
The Slim Reaper he wanted.
He wanted the Slim Reaper.
Oh, man.
I love the pick. I think they're headed in the right direction. Alex Leatherwood now goes to the Raiders. So, folks, we are now in Dolphin territory. And I've already told you guys what I want. I want Tevin Jenkins first. I want Christian Darrisaw second. But now my third guy is gone.
Get me Najee, and I'll get naked right here at the Sports Grill. I'm going to streak. I'm going to go streaking.
If I'm going to go defense on this one here, that's interesting. Now.
Quiddy Pay.
It might have to be Quiddy.
Quiddy or Russo.
It might have to be Quiddy.
Pick is in.
Although I will tell you this. You know what? I'm gonna move Gregory Rousseau into the third spot because Gregory Rousseau has the power to play tackle and play end, and he has the power to be a 3-4 end and a 4-3 end. And so
that's true.
And so what I like about him is the versatility in a big body in Rousseau. So I'm gonna go with the 2 tackles, and then I'm gonna go with Gregory Rousseau since my guy now, Zaven Collins, is gone. I'm going to go with Gregory Rousseau as my third pick.
Chris Greer is my goddamn hero. This guy does not waste any time.
Yeah,
right? He's like me in a fantasy draft. Like the
do we
second
have the trade? No trade. Let's go.
No trade. The second that it's on the board, my pick is in. He's ready. This goes to show this man is studied. This man is prepared. He's got his big board. Next guy on the big board, boom. That's who we're going with.
There's no discussion. There's no second guessing. You've already talked about it. You set your board. You know what you want. They wanted Jalen Waddle. They got Jalen Waddle, so there we go. And I'm being told that it's Jalen Phillips.
Whoa! So you're not too happy then?
Yeah, I'm not.
Man,
that's one that makes me nervous. He can play, but those concussions make me very nervous.
Well, listen, I'm sure they have all the relevant medical information.
Go to the commissioner. He's walking over to the couch where the Dolphin fan farted. And now he will announce the pick for the Miami Dolphins.
Choose to go here. They went offense with their first pick with Jalen Waddle. Let's find out.
With the 18th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Phillips, defensive end, Miami.
Canes over here.
Very nervous about this pick.
Whoosh. We got some Canes over here.
Very nervous about this pick.
Whoosh. Listen. Here's the thing.
Can't say I'm happy.
Now, for me, the only knock that I had on Jalen Phillips is the injury history. So I'm going to hope that in making this pick, they're happy with the medical information that they obtained. They're happy with the due diligence they got on his condition. You know, he did have multiple concussions. One of them was he was on a moped, I think, and he got hit by a car. That's just bad luck, all right? That's not injury prone. That's terrible luck. Jalen Phillips really stepped up, had a monster year for Miami last year, put himself on the map. This guy has explosiveness. He has speed. He terrorizes quarterbacks. I like this Jalen Phillips pick.
He can play. I worry about the concussion history. I worry about the injury history.
Look at this play. He chases down. I'm thinking of a different one. He chased down Trevor Lawrence from behind, forced a fumble. He's going to do that in the pros, too.
I'm not denying the player. The guy can play. There's no doubt about it. But concussion history, and you already quit football once. You know, I'm kind of old school in the sense that I love the guys that want to play football no matter what, and they fight through all of it. And the fact that he had Quentin him, that makes me a little nervous, to be honest with you. He's a player.
He is a
There's
player.
no doubt about it. But he's got to prove to me that he can stay durable from those concussions.
This guy can set the edge. This guy can create sacks. This guy can intercept passes. He can force fumbles. He can pick up fumbles. I like his attitude. Listen, I know that he had some baggage coming out of UCLA. My time covering the University of Miami last year, I was nothing but impressed with Jalen Phillips' work ethic, the way he carried himself. So listen, I'm excited, and I'm excited we get a little Coral Gables flavor in Miami Gardens with the Miami Dolphins. I always like it when I see them keep some Hurricanes home.
Yeah, he's got to prove it to me. I got to see it before I believe it with Jalen Phillips. I'm just not big on. And by the way, the Jays have it. Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle.
Boom! We got all the Jalens. Are there any Jalens in the second round we can grab?
Yep. So they picked two different ways to spell Jalen, but we got two Jalens.
We got them all.
In the first round here. The kid can play. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, it'll be a lot like when they drafted Devonta. Was it Davis? Vontae Davis.
Yeah, Vontae.
And I said he could play, but he's got maturity issues, right? Well, this kid can play, but I worry about the injury, the concussion history. I don't worry so much about the wrist.
Yeah.
And what was the other injury he had? He had another injury. Those injuries weren't.
An ankle, maybe?
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but it wasn't anything like, major and catastrophic. But I do worry about multiple concussions. And remember, it's not so much the concussions that are recorded. You know that there's going to be other ones that weren't recorded, and so you got to worry about those.
I don't know, man. That's not really that high concussion of a position. Like, he had some bad luck in college. If he was a linebacker, I'd be a little bit more worried. So, listen, and I know I'm excited because they got one of my Canes, okay? Like you, I would have thought if they were picking between two Canes, I would have thought they would have gotten Greg Rousseau. But clearly, because they had the choice of both of these guys, clearly they decided Jalen Waddle was the one that popped off the film a little bit more. So, and I know that I'm seeing this is getting mixed reviews here from the chat line. It seems like a few of you like the pick of Jalen Phillips. A lot of you don't like the pick very much. And so, man, I got to hold on. We got to get that camera back on my face, bro. I don't know. Hold on. Yeah. So listen, the Dolphins address needs here in the first round. The Dolphins got their playmaker at number 6.
Yep.
They got their defensive lineman. They got their edge rusher at number 18.
They needed an edge rusher.
I'm happy about this first round.
And listen, maybe Jalen Phillips is a guy that is now scratching the surface, and now he's growing as a player, and he's becoming a monster athlete. Maybe that's the case there. You know what I'm saying? Good. So anyway, I just think that Phillips, I just worry about the concussion history, man. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't worry about the player. I don't worry about the athlete. I don't worry about any of that stuff, okay? The dude can play, all right? So that I can't say. So as we wrap up our NFL draft coverage, my brother here.
Oh, and look at that. We got we're going to have a toast here in a minute.
Yeah.
Got some beer glasses.
Little Sam Adams. Is that what you guys ordered, Sam Adams?
That's just what the glass is. What kind of beer is this, man? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to downing some of the. Wow, that is a man's pour.
Yes, that is a man's beer right there. There we go. There we go.
I'll take a little more.
I love it. See, a little toast to end the evening.
That's good.
It's been a good evening.
It's been a great evening.
So now we get to drink a little beer.
Hell yeah.
And remember to always tilt your glass this way. And that way, you get very little suds.
Yeah, you got a lot of head on that.
Beautiful thing. That's right. There we go. It's a toast.
Toast.
A toast to OnsideRadio.com's first NFL draft coverage. You all were here with us. Thank you very much. So, by the way, for all of you on the chat board right now, give me a grade on the draft and the first night.
Yeah.
Send it in right now. I want to see. Got a bunch of people watching. Send in the chat. Make sure you smash the like button, by the way. Okay? As Dono and I talk about this draft, I want to see what the grades are, A through F, right now on the chat board. Send it in. So
And by the way, and if you guys are drinking at home, raise a glass and toast with us.
Yes. This is good. It's cold. This is Sam Adams. This is definitely a Sam Adams.
It is, and it's solid. Very good. Oh, man.
Anyway, so
Beautiful.
I love it, man. I love it. Look, I get it. Listen, a lot of people are going to love this draft because Waddle was needed.
Yeah.
And Jalen Phillips was needed. These are two needs that you filled out. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important that you understand that part. They needed a defensive end. They feel Jalen Phillips is the guy that's got a lot of upside. Maybe hey, listen, he's right here down the street from them. So they had plenty of opportunity to check out the kid, watch him play, talk to him, all of those kind of things. I love the Waddle pick. Jalen Phillips, I have no doubt, can play football.
Yeah.
I just worry about the injury history. That's it.
Yeah, and listen, like I said earlier, I hope that they are 100% comfortable. I hope that Chris Greer is not looking at this like, hey, I'm gambling on his health. Like, we can say that. I hope Chris Greer can't say that. I hope Chris Greer, in being just a few miles down the road or up the road from Coral Gables, has talked to enough people. He has very easy access to Manny Diaz and the entire crew down in Coral Gables. Now, I can tell you again, I cannot emphasize this enough from covering Miami this past season. I was actually surprised by what a high-character guy Jalen Phillips appeared to be to me. I don't know the man personally, but in conducting interviews and seeing him interviewed and speaking to him myself.
Good kid, man. Smart kid.
Very good kid. Seems super motivated. I know that he had the knock coming out of UCLA because he had temporarily retired from football. People were wondering,
Yeah,
what
but
kind
it's
of a
not
guy is
character
this?
issue. He has no character issues.
None.
No. He's a good kid. He works hard. He's a hell of a player, a hell of a talent. He is very talented. Oh, man, he is talented at that end spot. It's just if you worry about the concussion history. And look, Donald makes a good point, too. One of the concussions was during a motorcycle accident.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that could happen to any of us, by the way. So maybe hey, listen, maybe I'm worried a little too much about it. That's all. But I can't deny the player. I can't deny the talent. I can't deny the logic of picking him at number 18.
Yep.
All of that makes sense. All of it makes sense. So that part I can't deny. And again, they should know him better than every other team in the NFL because he's right here in your backyard. So you have more resources to go find out more dirt about him than almost anybody else because you can do it every day of the week. So,
It's something about Jalen Phillips that this is an area where I think he excels over Greg Rousseau is. Jalen Phillips is better against the run. So they probably looked at Greg Rousseau and said, okay, all the talent in the world, this guy might be a little bit more of a project at the next level because we don't project him as being the run stopper that Jalen Phillips is right now. I think
Or
that's
the
an
athlete.
area.
Or the athlete.
Right.
Jalen Phillips is a better athlete. Greg Rousseau is a wall, a mammoth human being that you have to try to move. You know, he's that. By the way, Dono, we're getting a lot of B's, a lot of A's, some C pluses, but it's mostly A's and B's.
I did see one F in
That are
there.
coming. Yeah, well, there's one. Oh, yeah. There's always an F. There's always somebody that's never happy with everything that goes on. So, but and listen, in the end, the real grade doesn't come out for 3 years from now. You know, when we actually get to see these guys for 3 seasons.
Right.
Play, that's when we really find out. And the real grade can't happen until after 3 days of the draft, and we see what else happens and what else falls for the Miami Dolphins. By the way, Kwity Paye, was he taken or? Oh yeah, the Giants took him.
Oh, look at that! After that trade down.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good move for them because they got a first-round pick for next year, a fourth-round pick for next year, and a fifth-round pick for this year to move down those 9 spots, and they end up getting a player who I think is better than the 20th overall in this draft. So that's good business by the Giants.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I can't criticize the move by the Giants. I think that's actually it was a really good move by the GM in order to do that, because if you understand the board and you're still going to get value a couple picks down and you're going to pick up some extra picks along the way, including a first rounder, hell's to the you do.
Yeah. Yeah, so while
Really, Kadarius Toney goes now? Wow. So the Colts, did you say the Colts, Tito?
did that already happen?
Oh, the Giants. Oh, wait a minute. So who got Kwity Paye then? Or is that was I just reading something?
Oh, that might have.
Maybe
my
there might have
bad.
been pick available or whatever.
Right, that might have been best
that's
player
what it was.
available.
So it was Kadarius Toney. Okay.
Oh,
All right,
I
well,
like that pick. I like Kadarius Toney a lot.
I love Kadarius
I don't like him as much as Jalen Waddle, but I like Kadarius
No,
Toney.
yeah, but I like Kadarius Toney. I'm on record for being a Kadarius Toney fan, and he had. Yeah, I know, but Tito's getting it from the tweets and stuff. So he's telling us ahead of time sometimes when it does happen.
Yeah, who's Tito's source? Tito keeps tipping the
Kadarius
picks
Toney's
to us.
coming, because some of these guys end up tweeting it out right before.
No, I think Tito just knows. I think Tito's got a
that
source
too.
on the inside.
Yeah, that too. He is kind of clairvoyant, as they say. Anyway, he is the Woj. He's telling us of the NFL. That's what it's all about. All right, we are wrapping it up here at Sports Grow. We thank all of you out there for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow. We will start at 6:30 tomorrow. Dono and I will be doing our shows during the day, and then we'll come back over, because we're going to do the shows tomorrow to do a little react from the draft. Who knows? Something may happen. The Dolphins may trade into the back end of the first round.
True.
But we're not going to hang out here for a couple of more hours doing that. So we're going to wrap it up here. We got to thank Tito down at the studios. Excellent work by him. Tito, is Tito solo out there? Okay, so Tito's out there. Just make sure there isn't somebody else there, and I'm not giving any credit. Abel out here. We can't do this without Sean. This is like the heart and soul of the station. And
Awesome job, Sean.
I love this guy to death, and I will go to battle with him every day of the year and twice on Sundays when it comes to radio. So, Sean, excellent work by you, sir. Thank you. Alex Dono, my brother, always a pleasure.
Thank
doing
you, man.
Anything and everything with you, bro. You are the best. I appreciate you immensely. And we'll be rocking tomorrow during our shows on Onside, and then we'll be back here tomorrow
And
night.
I got to tell you, man, every time, I've done it a couple times before, whenever I can do a draft show with Big O, that's tremendous, man. I mean, before I was in radio, I would listen to your draft shows back in the day, so it's always a thrill for me.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Pleasure is mine. And an honor that all of you tuned in and checked us out on YouTube. Make sure you smash the like button. That is so important. You smash the like button. That really helps us out immensely. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back here at 6:30, recapping what happened in the first night, getting ready for an exciting second night, and we'll be out here at Sports Grill loaded up, eating some wings, baby. We'll see you all tomorrow here, and our draft coverage of the first night of the 2021 draft wraps up as the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Waddle and Jalen Phillips. Thank you, Tito.
Thank you.